Check. What is up? We're starting it up. We're getting it together, man. What up, people? This is the Last Call Podcast live, man. Happy Friday. Damn. You know what? What do we got to do? We got to just get into it, man. You know, like a. Yes. Welcome back. This is Last Call Podcast live. Trying to come at you, man, every Friday, 9 p.m., which this is that. But we got themes. We normally talk about stuff, whatever the agenda is. Today we got a few things on the agenda that we're going to discuss. This is episode what, man? This is episode number 47 already. Damn. Almost at that 50. Then 50 more to go. Get that 100. Maybe meet my retirement, man. I don't know. No, I'm joking about that a little bit, but I'd like to see at least 500 subscribers before 100 lives, you know. So we do the lives every Friday, 9 p.m., joined by people that I'm going to get to in just a minute. I like to drop a video about what's going on in the YouTube street. Sometimes when I drop the video, damn near 50 events go by. I said something on there like I could damn near do a video like every week for all the BS going on around the country and everywhere else, man. And you really can. And this week I concentrated on that Cincinnati brawl. If you've seen it. If you haven't, we're going to get into it anyway, man. This is the Live Friday. So do the video once a week, do the live once a week, and then I hit you with shorts that I might switch up a little bit. Normally I like to dig in the crates, man, and give you a little something that you haven't heard in a while. And I dropped one today. I got to drop another one, you know, to do that also, man. Homeboy Tiz, what up? From the partners, all the partners, what up, man? Hope you guys are doing well. Look forward to the Liggity Live tomorrow night, you know, do all that kind of stuff. Hope you guys are good. Hey, you could feel free when I drop the link there, Tiz, to join me if you want. Josephine should be joining also, you know. Lorna Williams in the house. What up? And just some nice greetings for everybody around the way here, man, as we get into this Friday, finally. And a lot of crazy things, man. A lot of stuff going on. You know, I'm going to try to, I know I keep teasing the Khalif Browder documentary. I just can't do it on this laptop. It's a little slower. It's not catching a good reception. I want something a little more reliable. So when I get my other laptop back, I'll probably use that to do something then. And, you know, just hold tight, man. You know what we do. But even saying that, I may have felt a little bit guilty because there's so much other shit going on around here, man. Going on in these YouTube streets. What am I talking about? Shit. Well, even before I came on here, man, I was surfing the YouTube streets. Caught a little bit of that. I normally don't even watch her, man, but I was in the car, caught a little bit of the Tasha K. And Tasha K be talking to Lene Stacks. And if you don't know that, man, it's a deal, and it has been a deal for a few days, maybe weeks, couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. Getting a little drinky drink. Jeez, it's hot in here. Had to rush in, put the air on. So I'm sweating till the house cools down a little bit. Little groceries, little this and that. I'm running around before I hibernate. Well, I do gotta go to the gym. Let me post this. And yeah, I spent a few minutes just before logging on here. Q Butter, of course, was on too. And I wanted to get into a couple of things, even about that. Some developments and just the regular kind of what I feel about a message that he sent as well. Things that we know. What's up, Joe? HNIC. The head negress in charge, we call Joe. And she is setting up her phone. I hope she's in top shape this week. And we have no incidents of Josephine hurting herself out in the wild, and get that going. But a couple things with Q Butter as I, start laying some cards out of what I'm doing here. He sent out a message this week. He put a post, as far as things that I pay attention to about as much effort is put into UMAR and his non-school and his shenanigans. Nothing. He's open to school. The gist of the message was not enough energy is being surrounded with real success versus following the collapse. But again, that's what it is, though, right? That's what it is. It's like, especially YouTube, man. If anybody goes to YouTube thinking it's a fair format or it doesn't peddle certain information over other informations, or even what the medium is typically used for, we're really fooling ourselves with a lot of stuff like that, man. So, there's that. And what he's got his show on right now. And amongst all the silly things they were starting to go through and discuss, he's somewhere in the wild or whatever. He's a city dude, so he had his live going on while he's walking around wherever he's at, listening to wild animals, insects, and all that kind of stuff. But through all that craziness in the show, about 5 people on the panel, and one person started asking the question about the immigrants. And another thing I wanted to get into, particularly Black immigrants, this argument that I saw again. I used to be a news junkie, man. I mean, like, I had several. As soon as my screen popped up in the morning and I opened my laptop, I got 3 or 4 papers going, websites, to get a perspective, be on top of everything that's going on in the news. I stopped doing that for the last few years, which is surprising to me. I just kind of lost interest, moved around a little bit. My setup is a little bit different from what I used to do. I don't take the time to even read like I used to. I still have books on the menu and in my little shelving unit that I call a library over there. It's got a couple shelves that I need to go, because there was a time I was a big reader and I couldn't get enough of the books and words and everything along with that, man. But this here is especially getting older, you don't stop learning, right? But anyway, they started getting into this conversation, but the conversation started to go into the Black plight of looking out for self. And we're not necessarily talking about the FBA thing and ADOS. I don't even want to make a point into that right now, man, but it was more like it got into the discussion and branched out about Black people have been there all through history, every war, fought everything. But nobody, besides a few, have really took on the fight in the plight for Black people unless there's mutual support. Meaning that if there are other groups, there's brown, there's this, there's an injustice here and there. The main thing driving the justice in those cases are black people and the civil rights laws and rules that black people have fought for in this country. But when it comes time for the reverse, more fingers are pointed. And we could go into the video that I made this week with the follow up from last week, the Cincinnati Brawl. And we will talk a little bit about that too, where people didn't even have all the context, let their bias get ahead of them to provide the context, didn't provide anything else, and politicians jumping on this, conservatives jumping on this, even conservative black puppets like the Hodge twins and Tatum couldn't wait to run up on Fox News or make the little video pointing like, look at them, as though there's something else, or they're just a credit to the white. I hate there's a lot of people, or a few people, that stick out online like that, these attack dogs, for because they don't need you, first of all, and they don't respect you, second of all. So stop trying to be a little lapdog. And yeah, you could have your own mind about things. It doesn't mean that a certain injustice, as far as I know, black people like myself, any other educated black people who look at these matters, who look at the writing, the Shein store, anything like that, we're not parading or cheerleading on the sidelines. Yeah, this is good for us. No, it's a bad look. Injustice is injustice within our community and outside, as well as crime as well. But to think we're going to see stuff like that and just go for black people because they're black and it sounds ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous until you go see the Cincinnati Brawl video that I posted and you hear Officer Tatum, bootlicker, talk about the mentality, the schemata of black people's minds today, of harboring resentment and always being hostile and in revenge mode. This person has not read any books, hasn't done any psychology on the matter, only dug a hole and kept digging down this rabbit hole one way. And it's such a shame that these people hate themselves so much that they're running upon the porch, pointing out that people really working, field dudes, and saying, look at them. Hey, we're good, master. Pat me on the head. I'm good. I'm just like you. And it's like so many things. I've noticed another thing also, a lot of media, anybody writing any blogs, anything like that, always using black phrases or things that have been created to describe for black people as well, like to distort the true essence and the meaning of black fatigue, and using other things too. Even if you go back to Black Lives Matter, that wasn't enough. It had to be all the lives matter for things in this Friday. And again, we welcome everybody, and we got the HNIC at Negress in charge, the one and only Josephine the Chattivist. What up?
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's going on? What's going on?
What's going on? Can you sound like you weren't taking a nap in the back for like half an hour?
Look, I was taking a nap. No, I wasn't. You'd be surprised. Was I even talking in the last hour or so? No. I've been trying to set up my other phone, and you know how it's challenging to set up another phone.
Oh,
You
like
have
a
to
new
sign
phone?
into you have to sign it.
Okay.
You have to click on every app and sign in with your face, I guess. So that's what I've been doing. And then I'm
Okay.
sectoring too. So I'm in like two places because our sector is popping off right now. Finally. So
Oh, hell no. Hell no, you're not double timing, man. Come on now.
well,
What?
I'm over here now. I was,
Better be staying here. What up, Emmanuel? OG. OG. Original gangster. All right. Um, cool. So what is sectoring mean? This means like some shit you said is going on and you're in the mix somehow. What, explain the sectoring thing, if you will.
Oh, it's like when you're like you're participating, in the chat. You're just participating. You're watching what's going on. You're commenting. You could be on the panel. It's a lot of things could be happening.
What's the beef right now? What's the what's the sit?
Right now, the beef right now is between two, I don't know if anybody noticed, but in the sector I have an husband, and
Oh,
and
well.
he's battling with somebody else. But listen, I just have my popcorn, you know what I'm saying? Listen, it's a kerfuffle. It's a kerfuffle. So it's all I know is Philly versus the troll.
Philly's a person, or we're talking about
No, just
Philly, the people from Philly, like
yeah,
Oaklane,
yeah,
Propane,
yeah.
Oaklane, and these people.
Yeah, and then it's in the troll, like head troll in charge. So yeah,
Okay, all
it's a
right.
kerfuffle. It's a kerfuffle. I'm just a spectator, just watching. That's all it is.
Why are these guys? Why is there always something going on with these guys? Why can't? Like, am I asking a stupid question? Is it all about beef? Is there like nothing good going on? Because this is going to lead to our thing.
It's just trolling. I think it's just trolling. I think I think it's a little bit of trolling, a little bit of personal. Like I said, I'll just say this: behind the scenes as a motherfucker. That's all I have to say.
This is
And
why.
so sometimes when some people have interpersonal relationships behind the scenes. Sometimes it can spill online.
A little what is it? Entanglement. What is going?
Right.
Virtual entanglement.
Right, but then other people, that they don't really know. Look at Manuel, don't let your work.
Getting in the mix.
So no, it's just this is what it is. Yeah. So then it gets like over, it's always somebody trying to stir up some mess, and I always notice that it's always a woman. And I'm a woman too. So I mean I'm not trying to
You're a woman?
put down. Yeah, I'm
all this time? God damn.
But
we got
no,
ourselves a woman on here.
It's always like, it seems like a lot of the kerfuffles is always behind like either a female stirring up mess or a female trying to reunite some type of little kerfuffle that may have happened a long time ago, and then it doesn't seem like it happened a long time ago, and then it's just and then at the end of the day, the men are gonna realize that, wow, these women always always causing a kerfuffle. And I think that's just what it is. These kerfuffles are always behind some type of female. And it's not even necessarily the woman that they're not even interested in the woman. That's a weird part.
Some of these dudes, as the song goes, some of these niggas are bitches too. And it's like, look, yeah, Manuel. I didn't even know that we were married because you successfully today cuckolded me. If you're doing something with your other husband over there.
Listen.
You're right, Manuel.
Listen. No, it's just like I'm not over there now. I left a while ago, but I have a headache.
I don't feel better.
But no, I knew I was gonna be about at least 10 minutes late. But so.
All right, we'll let her go.
It was heating up. So
and you got Tiz as a side boo. God damn.
He's an east side boo. Look, he's my east side boo.
Take it easy over here, Joe. These relationships are getting out of hand, man. What is going on?
But anyways,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
I missed last week because
you did.
I was enjoying myself too much, and then today my food just even came. That's crazy. It's these hours. It's like
mine's on the stove right now, man.
Really?
Yeah, man.
What are you eating?
Say again.
What you got going on? What you eating?
General Chow chicken or whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about?
Really, I'm having
The orange
hibachi.
sauce with fried ice.
Oh, it's close because I'm having hibachi, so that's
Yeah,
close.
close. It's in the family. It's in the family.
Yeah, it's in
Three
the
chicken
family.
wing with the fried ice. I haven't seen that guy in a long time. I got to see those. I love those videos from Lucid, the fried rice videos. We played that on the. You know what I'm talking about? Tell me you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about. All
yes,
right, all
I know
right.
what you're talking about.
Three chicken wing and the fried rice.
Yeah,
Let's say fried rice.
I'm having hibachi, but mine is salmon. So
What did you do? Did you buy it or did you make it in the old kitchen over there?
listen, it was
Oh, you
ordered.
bought it. You bought it.
Listen,
Yeah.
it
Okay.
was ordered, and it was in it. Listen, I cooked this week. I need a break.
All right. All right. That's good. You know, you're loud. It's Friday too. You know, typically gets a little busy. You know,
Mhm.
going to Tasha K. I was watching some Tasha K today, man. Um. All right. So, anything else with this sector beef we should know or care about, or like
No,
what's wrong with these
no,
people?
no. It's entertaining, but other than that, like Lorna said, it's recycle, and repeat.
Does this come from particularly miserable people that it's fucking Friday, dude? Like you worked all week for that to
Oh well,
argue?
today it's not even an argument. Today is just the trolling part of it. He's having a good old time trolling the beef. You know the
Um,
beef. Yeah. So it's basically like, okay, now we're gonna troll about it, and so that's basically what's going on
you
today.
gotta live up. You gotta live up to the Chatavis name, man.
Yeah, trolling. That's all it is. Me, I'm just like I said, I'm a spectator. I mean, I
Mm.
might throw $2 here and there.
Yeah, a whole bunch of change. Yeah,
Two piece and a biscuit.
bunch of change. I believe you, man. I believe you. All
So
right.
I want to bring up something that I read today that was very, very interesting.
Oh, please do.
Okay, so remember the movie Colors?
Colors, colors, colors. I love that movie. Yes.
So there was always rumor back then that Colors influence a lot of young people to participate in games. They said that it was an influx of yeah. After seeing that movie came out, a lot of youth started wearing red or blue, and so then there was like,
Yeah.
no, it's true, it's true. When I
All
grew
right.
up,
All right.
where I grew up at, when I was young, I used to say this all the time. It was like before I didn't see nobody wearing red and blue, and then all of a sudden colors came out and red, it was red and blue everywhere. So someone brought that to my attention. Remember when colors, it was supposed to be not glorifying gang life. It was supposed to just tell you like what could happen when the gangs happen, right? So some first they were saying that there was guys being locked up in prison, being released in these different states, and that's how gangs started. But in my area, the gangs were mostly Hispanic gangs until that movie came out, and then you just seen a lot of youth. And then around the '90s, that's when like in the '90s, that's when you started seeing a little drive-by shootings and stuff. And it's very interesting that that's actually a known fact. I didn't know that was even a known fact. That on record they said that movie alone made um increase gang culture.
Moved up gang membership.
Right, and that's crazy.
All right, let me. Where I you. So you read this? This is an article,
Well, see, this wasn't this is yeah,
or is
this
this something
was
you heard?
no, this is something I heard. So so I googled it recently today. Like, well, chat GPT it. But no, I always knew this when I was growing up, that before colors came out, that where I lived, and because I'm from the West Coast too, there were no gangs. Like, there wasn't really Bloods and Crips, mostly Hispanic gangs, like barrios and stuff like that on the South Side. But when that movie came out, I remember like a week later, young people were wearing like red in certain areas, and some people were wearing blue. And so when I did my little research today, it was saying that, yeah, that it increased that movie increased gang culture in states like Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, those states where gangs were not really that strong. It started showing up around the 90s.
All right. All right. I hear what you're saying. I okay, so I don't think it
We're talking about
started.
blood. We're talking about Blood and Crips. Now, I'm from Illinois too, and so we already know about the Hoover and how that happened and all that
Mhm.
stuff. We're
Yeah.
just talking about Bloods and Crips. That's all we're talking about. So,
Okay, that's cool. I th- so I think the what's being said is the movie helped popularize and perhaps uh with the popularization of colors, people started getting hip to the game, but it's been going on way before that though,
right in
right?
LA, right in LA, and then
Mostly in LA. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
LA only, mostly. I'm talking about in other states. So
That
there were
after
gangs in
colors in other states that
it.
the colors help popularize it
Right.
because okay.
So like what brother of a certain age is saying in the 80s, like I'm from Illinois. So in the 80s and 70s and there were gangs already, okay, but they
Right,
weren't called Crips and Bloods at all. And then in other states, right, they
right,
had other gangs, Hispanic gangs. They were named something else.
right,
LA is where Crips and Bloods were really, really like off the chain popular. But
right,
they saying that in the rest of the world, they were saying that Crips and Bloods, because of that movie, it
hey, you're,
increased the level of gang violence in a lot of other states because they started emulating the teens in that movie, and that's true because I experienced that when I came to Arizona. They didn't have those gangs until after that movie came out.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, I could agree with that. And right, what up, a brother for certain age, by the way. Right, there were the gangs, the red and blue, of course, very LA, but then it expanded because as we know, the prison culture also expands and it networks out too.
That too, but
Right,
not as bad as it was when they like I remember young people leaving the movie theater seeing that movie and they started wearing those colors and they were advertised like the stores were selling it like they
right,
is like to and so I brought that up to say that we have social media that kind of influence young people and stuff, but that's an instance where a full movie influence a culture also, and it's kind of swept under the rug, but it really did do that.
Well, I think like a lot of things too, and especially entertainment. This is a case of art imitating life because it was already going on, right? Now,
Right.
I think it's like anything, like music, all that sort of stuff. It influences others, right? So just like that, art influenced others to the gang and open them up, expose them to the gang culture and some of the gang ways, and maybe because LA gangs at that time were particularly different in the way that they operate. LA is just a fucking different place. And that's one of the places I used to live, work to. I don't consider just living places unless you go there and pay taxes and shit. And obviously by the time I got there, all that shit was, there's damn near nobody left. So it's not the same thing. But back in those days, it was like a real, damn near as gritty as that movie showed in a lot of the instances, so I don't doubt that because it wasn't like a square movie either, you know what I'm saying? It was popular, it properly represented some of the gang culture, what it is, some of the ins and outs, not too crazy. You got a difference of opinion with the two police officers, Robert Duvall and Sean Penn's character, Pac-Man, those guys as well, right? You got a little insight to that, how it works, what they do. And it was particularly after the police, what do they call it? Rush or something like that. When they started banging down doors, when they had a license to do anything, think of stop and frisk, it was like a million times worse when they were doing that. So it really did give a little example. But the thing is, they didn't go about it in a square way. It was a movie, a little that the youth could look at. I mean, this is before hood movies, so to speak. You know, the boys in the hood, before it started coming from black directors. You know, this was the view that it gave to America and people around the world, for that matter. You know, so I don't doubt that a lot of things caught on, and that movie, thus representing LA, being the trendsetters for that too. So yeah.
So I bring that up to say this, and you could Tiz if he wants to speak. Um, I
What up,
bring
dude?
I bring that up to say this. I my question was, why do you think that a movie that, because in the end it was like, it was like a lot of, in the end kind of was the basically, trying to say, hey, this is not what you want to do. But throughout the whole movie, why do you think the young teenagers were so fired up to emulate what they were seeing? Because before that, I'm telling you, they were not exposed to LA gang life until that movie. Like, I'm talking about other like cities and pockets and states that really didn't have that much gang violence. And young, like, why would young teenagers leaving that movie, like, wanting to glorify what they were seeing? Why didn't the end catch on? Why wasn't it like a menace to society moment or a boys in the hood moment? Why was it more like you know why do you think it was just so, you know um it was taken not negatively, it was taken more positively by the youth?
Positively meaning like negatively for the youth.
Right, right.
Okay. So I think it's like anything. And, you know, we do have to remember the days before, you know, internet and everything as well. But I think it was hip. It was cool. Um, People wanted to emulate that because of remember the drug era too. This was another way to run things. The way that they saw these LA cats move, and they wanted to emulate that. And because it was so popular and it had people that they looked up to, I mean, the cast wasn't as well known back then in the 80s, but damn, some superstars came from that also. I think because there was such a balance between what the youth were doing and the cops were doing, you know, the administrative. I mean, they made the shit look cool. Ice-T on the track, even though Tiz hates that shit. By the time they got to the county jail, they made that shit look cool, to tell you the truth. As a youth, I look at it today like, man, that's the stupidest shit. But back in the day, how the gangs meet in the jail and all that shit, and it resonates with that gang and jail culture because that's what you got to do when you go in to the deal. I'm gonna pass on and let Tiz. What up, Tiz? Welcome. The partners
What's
in the
up,
house.
everybody? How y'all doing, man?
Yeah.
As the resident gang member on the panel,
Oh,
I'm gonna chime in on y'all. I'll give you a little bit of perspective. I can't speak on the generation before me, but for my generation, Colors, um, Minister Society, New Jack City, a lot of these movies had impacts on us because when we were growing up, even if, so like I'm from Virginia, obviously, so we didn't have gangs when I was a young kid, but as I became an adolescent and teen, we got them. And a lot of it was because of movies like Colors. And it's because before that, we were already operating under these type of systems, whether it was the so-and-so family or the so-and-so neighborhood or your ward or your block or whatever, like your street. Like, we was already represent gangs. We just didn't have Bloods and Crips per se. So when you got your uncles all going to jail all the time because of the crack era, you now have like an influx and a mixing. Like, before the internet, the jail was the internet. So like a lot of cultures and stuff mixed in jail because everybody was, you get pinched in Virginia, you might be from Arkansas, you might be from Chicago, you might be from Milwaukee, you might be, you know what I'm saying, but you here in jail with these people. So your culture rub off on them, they rub off on you, and y'all take that back to your neighborhood. So like the reason that it's a lot of cross pollination of different street cultures in different states is because of the jail scene and the prison scene. So, you know what I'm saying? My uncles and them, they went in jail representing their neighborhood and their family and came out representing the color. And if you a young person at that time, especially in my generation, you following after your uncles. You practicing their mannerism. Like when you playing in the neighborhood, you acting like. Y'all ever seen that scene on The Wire where the kids was acting like Omar and the people that
Yeah.
was sticking?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, we was acting like our uncles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm him. I'm him. No, I'm him. No, I'm uncle. And this
Right.
was what we was doing. And so if you take that and you apply it to just general the way we associate. If you look at internet now, look at jail as the internet in the 90s and the 80s. And it's the same shit. So when you got Bloods going to jail, Crips going to jail, GDs, Vice Lords, Latin Kings, you got all these people going to jail in these different states. They're not stopping what they've been doing in their own state. They just teaching other people and hey, let me see if I can get a set here.
Right.
And then your uncle's coming home and they teaching you that because now they doing it, so you just doing what they doing.
Right.
So it's not a situation of like
But there was
it's not like music where like you ride into some shit and it pump you up to do the shit. It's more like the movies was representing what you was already doing. It just put a different name to it. Like when you watch Colors, no matter what state you was from, if you was from the hood, you was already doing that type shit. Your gang was just your family. Your gang was just your street. Your gang was just the kids you
Right.
grew up. But you still
Right.
had a gang. It was all the same shit. It's all the same shit. It's just the term we put on it. They called it a gang in their place. We called it our hood.
right. I agree, and so I asked that question as if I because I do know, but what I do want to say is what a lot of people weren't paying attention to is how they marketed to, like when that movie came out, a lot of department stores and the mall started selling these clothing,
Right.
these items. They actually kind of fed into the whole gang culture, and it's not being said. It's what you're saying is
That's
correct.
not for us though.
Right,
That's
right,
not for us. They do that, not for us. That
right,
has nothing to do with us. They do that because the white kids want to be like us, so they have to
right.
market to them because they know once these white kids see this shit, they gonna want to dress like the white. Like Bo Derek wearing braids back in the day, people was like talking shit about it, but like white girls was going out getting the same cornrows that black girls been getting for years.
But when I'm in these neighborhoods, right,
They market to themselves
right,
because they like our shit.
but in the neighborhoods, right, because back, if you're from the West Coast, you know about swap meets and flea markets and things
Right.
like that,
For
right?
sure.
And so at the swap meet and the flea markets, you would see the red rags. I mean, they were these department stores are just as culpable of of you know making money off of what was happening in the 90s when all the shootings started. And so what I was just bringing that up to kind of say this: we know that gang culture. I have my uncles were like Stone Rangers, so I know that the gang culture has been around forever. I know
Forever.
everything was the block,
Right.
projects, everything. I know that
Okay.
life very well. But what I'm saying is that although our young, we are part of that whole system. There was a system above it that was capitalizing off of it that
Of course.
nobody talks about. Like they're not
All
talking
right.
about.
So
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I want to
You're
bring this
absolutely
to a
right.
new level because I did some thinking about this way back about stuff. Exactly what you're saying, but in a different capacity, right?
Mhm.
It's always said in a lot of speeches. It's quoted in some movies and stuff. When you get Omar on the stand, or you get Nino Brown on the stand, and they start talking about, you're just as guilty as I am, talking to the lawyers and the judge. You guys, you profit off of crime. You're a criminal lawyer. This or that. Talking about in the hood. So if you've been around the elements, you've been around the elements and stuff like that. I remember going to Coney Island and it was shut down. We used to go for a couple summers in a row, and then you couldn't even go. They closed the beach. Luckily, they caught us on time to get us off the beach because we went there at night just to walk around. I remember being my dad and everything like that. We had to get off the beach because there were so many syringes from drugs popping up on the shore. So they had to close the beach a couple summers in New York. Now, say all that to say this. This is a business bigger than, closes in there because they've always capitalized, selling whatever it is of what they consider black or hip hop culture so they can make a dollar off of it. But there are other companies as well that exploit the situation, that get away with things back in the day. So back in the day, my question was to the people who make Glad bags. Now, I don't know how you bought your stuff back in the day. The amount of Glad bags that I got, if I didn't care nothing about it, I would have used them for my sandwiches.
Right.
And I had enough for the family sandwiches and the neighbor sandwiches, enough with the bags that I collected. All right. Now, when the people that I know, were distributing the stuff or hand me a little whatever it is, you had the little pouch bags. You got the bags just the size of a couple quarters. You got the little one that you could maybe fit a couple pencils in there. Now, this isn't just food and stuff going into the stuff. One of my questions was, after, and I'm not trying to sell you guys on this, but you're getting the picture.
You're going.
You know what I'm saying? To the point, my boys even bought air sealers when they started getting a little more
vacuum
efficient
sealers,
with their working and stuff like that.
Yep.
Now, I'm telling you, Glad knows. Part of the medical community knows that vials, syringes, all the stuff that you can't get at your local Walgreens over there is a big part of continuing the business. Not only do they cater and usher along this illegal business, but they profit from it. They're very quiet about it, but they know that they need this much baggies on the shelf, not just for moms making their kids sandwiches, but for industry that, again, they don't talk about. Now, do you find them responsible for anything in the drug trade because their product was not even well known but recommended? It like they say 9 out of 10 dentists fucking choose Oral-B. It's like 9 out of 10 drug dealers recommend Glad zip fucking top bags for your goddamn ounces.
The blue-green with the blue-green seal.
Is there a marketing? Is there a sliver or a sector in the marketing department that's we gotta do this?
I'm gonna say something, but go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, go ahead. You got.
But when you're, and I get what you're saying. You're looking at it in a small scale, right? I'm looking at it as like when I was a teenager and we used to go to the malls all the time, right? And I was about maybe, I say about 13, 14 years old, going to the malls, right? And I lost a few friends to gang violence who weren't even in gangs. So just drive-by shootings, random shootings. But I remember going to the mall and there was like Miller's Outpost. There was a couple other stores. There was a Nike outlet or whatever. And they were actually like pushing these items and then they were giving them as a discount. And so I remember when I was at my high school, the year that like I hit 9th grade and the year that happened, I remember a helicopter landing in the middle of the school because there was a whole bunch of guys that showed up to the school wearing nothing but red. They had a line across the fence. By the time I got home, they were still on the news, like the news was outside. And these were guys that were like about 4 years older than me, 3 years older. They were already left high school and they were going up there recruiting these young people. And so the thing about it is that when in my area, the clothing and everything, they were actually marketing because I'm from the true hip hop era. And so we were wearing, that was when Montgomery Wars was around and stuff. And I'm from the true hip hop era where we were wearing baggy clothes and we were wearing like striped shirts with the hood on it and
overalls with one strip
one side
hanging down.
Right. And so there was stores that were kind of marketing towards us, but they really was kind of pushing the bandanas and this, that, and the clothes that I was wearing was expensive compared to the clothes that the kids that were into games were wearing. And they were pushing it. So it's just from, thinking about it from, and the reason why I'm bringing that up is because now fast forward to today, right? And you have social media is so everything is 30 seconds, and the way they dress, they went from wearing skinny jeans to, it's hard for me to take a game banger seriously when he's wearing pants that's like his whole boxer briefs is hanging out his butt, and his pants are like way.
Well, that's the thing. There's no style now. Because back in those days, and going back to the LA culture as well, it was Chuck Taylor's, Dickies, T-shirt. You didn't have the Roadrunner on a fucking sweater in rhinestone as your style and claim that you're, a gangster like that, man. And the ones, even talking about back in the day, even the rappers that we looked at that were somewhat affiliated, but rapping, they didn't even do like, they maybe wore the troop suits with a fucking fat rope chain, like that sort of deal, man. If that, and that's going above and beyond, like the Fur or Slick Rick doing something like that. But the other styles for everyday people, yeah, man. And that's a part of what the culture is too, or business is too. A capitalistic market where you see what's going on, and you could talk about the morality of marketing this stuff or continuing to make products. Because look at what they did. What is the baby formula? Good luck fucking getting a baby formula without a key. One of these grocery stores. We'll be locking them up.
I don't. Yeah, and that happens at like Walmart and stuff. But then when you go to like the stores that's way out nowhere,
it's like, oh, it's right here,
high end areas.
You don't even got to pay for the shopping carts in some of these places. You put 25 cents in. I hate that shit. And it's like, see, that's the other thing, right? The baby formula. Go.
No, I'm still here. No, I say, it's bad when the deodorant is locked up behind the scene. That's a need right there.
Like locking up deodorant. It's annoying, man. You be calling if you're not even at your Walmart or you got to call. You're like, what kind of Babylon bullshit am I doing over here? I got to get keys to get soap and all this other shit. But I think a lot of that stuff started with it was the drug trade needed the baby formula. And those they couldn't keep those in stock, but they still sold it though, right? And it being a whatever the company is who produces those things, they got a moral dilemma. Of course, they didn't. I'm sure they didn't anticipate, and I think their way of getting that out of the easy reach of the industry, so to speak, was to lock it up. I think that's where a lot of those things came from originally. But I think with inflation and everything, people just started that.
Man, it's just like someone was saying about like when they saw New Jack City, that really, when I saw New Jack City, I said that really did exist. Like when I didn't see New Jack City as making people want to do what he did. Right. I saw New Jack City as actually kind of putting out something that was already happening, and now this movie is like talking about what goes on when they take over buildings and projects and
how you keep the people hostage in their own buildings and stuff like that too. Right. The industry, it gave you a eyeball into the industry of what do drugs look like. And again, we're looking at a couple different things that I think we should know. Number one is the the point of view. Right now, we're getting black directors telling more black stories, and I don't think it's a coincidence that there's a lesson at the end. Like everybody gets their just desserts at the end. Nino, we see Nino make it. We see him even beat the system, and we're like, damn, that's the way it works. But it ends with Nino, your soul is required in hell. And then, shoots him down the stairs and all that kind of stuff too. So in our stories, we learn that it's not cool. What the hell is it called? Movie I went to go see with my mom. I made her go as a teenager, take me to this movie because I was such a big Ice Cube fan. Boys in the Hood, right? That was one of the first movies at the time where I was like, all right, it's really telling a real story over here. And at the end, there's a revenge plot. The ones that were good prospects aren't the ones that even made it out the movie. What's his name? Trey did, but for the most part, the ones that you were eyeballing is like they're really gonna make it. Didn't make it. Kane didn't make it. From Menace to Society, and then all these other ones as well. So back with Colors, it didn't really focus on a perspective from our stories. It was more on the police officer and how they're going to conduct business with the next heap of gang members and criminals that they were going to have to deal with. I think it was more set on that, right?
Yeah, it definitely was. But the thing about it is that I look at it from this point of view. I'm saying to myself, how, imagine if, we didn't have social media, we didn't have those different things, but just to see how quickly, the internet influences gang and drug culture too, isn't, it's crazy. So it's like, coming from that to where we are now, where it comes to culture, it just changes,
Well, I think it's the same with a lot of stuff too. Well, look at rock and roll back in the day, or rock metal. I've went to school with metalheads when I used to walk through the football field when they were smoking and all that shit. What up, the fraud and charlatans? Good to see you, man. Same deal. They were influenced. That was a thing for a while where they were in leather pants and, cut off sleeves, and the way that they did their hair and all that stuff was also influenced by, a lot of that stuff too. It just nothing capitalizes on the flavor of what black folks do. And that's the other part of that too. Right.
Correct. Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. It's a tough one, but although I think clothes are bad, to me, the bigger you got to throw everybody. It's like reparations. You can't just get reparations for slavery. There was Jim Crow. There was the bombing of towns. There was the lynching of people. You got to encompass all of that into what the effort is. For this, if you're going to attack like just clothes or something like that, there's a whole bunch of other attributes that service that industry, the drug industry, the syringe maker, the vials, the things that they used to keep, these medical things that you don't get around the block, or you used to not get it back in the 80s and 90s before these popular chains were around. The Glad bags, that is big business. I'm almost sure drug dealers were buying more Glad bags than moms making sandwiches at one point. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody had one of those saran wrap things in their house like they have at the airport, for crying out loud. So, man, I don't know.
I've seen a lot of Glad bags in my lifetime. I'm just saying, a lot of Glad bags, a lot of baby formula jars.
All of that stuff, man. So I think, in my opinion, those guys are just as guilty as the ones, the fashion industry capitalizing on that stuff.
Yeah,
I
agree with you.
That's good, man. That is good. That is a good point of that too. And same old question: does art imitate life, or does life imitate art? Right? Friday and Charlatans in the house. What happened to Tiz? Did his connection get worse or something like that? All the people getting attention.
Yeah, that's what I wonder. I wonder if he dropped.
He probably did. It was a little noisy at one point. Yeah, the old timers, man. They're getting, that stuff doesn't go away. And it's good to see some of the rappers still going. I mean, Wu-Tang kind of says it's their final thing that they're doing, right? Final show, which they just might do individual shows and stuff. But, the rocker dudes, man, they are packing the stadiums of stuff. And it's like, that's pretty damn good. Go see it. I'm not a crowd person. I might go to a game here or there, but I hate crowds. I don't even like clubs like that. Went out a few weeks ago again because my homeboy was, let's go. Went out. I didn't want the dance floor. I didn't want to be doing none of that stuff because now I'm such a music snob that I did my own music for myself and everything. I don't really like even the way they mix the music. I can't help but critique. Like, why would you slam this song into that song? Like, you should have did this to keep the groove and all that stuff. My mind's critiquing the DJ before I'm even enjoying myself. So,
really?
Yeah, yeah. Once in a while, there might be a good DJ, but you gotta wait. You might have to go into like a small room and shit for them to get to the old school. Or some great mixing. I mean, you know what it was like back in the day, and the names like Funk Master Flex and Kid Capri, the way they did their artistry. Now people are just pressing buttons and like, oh, this song with this beat. Oh, I just pressed that button. It's like, you get out of here, man. You're not even doing that.
That's what happens when that's your profession and that's your passion. You notice everything.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
you really do. You're noticing how the mixes come in and how they're fading and if they're even doing anything. One of the things that I used to do that I argue with my friend, I used to like it was a real mix. And if it felt like, I had to drop a beat and just let the beat ride while people were feeling that, then I'd do that. That's something that he never would do. He's like, never. I just play the song and then the next song that fits into it. And I'm like, dude, so you don't even drop a groove when people are getting into it or, whatever that is. So I used to really DJ when privately I did vinyl. I had vinyl for a while, not a huge collection, kind of left it because my boy had records. But then when I came back to do it again, and it took me a while to go digital, obviously for me, it took me a little longer to go with the digital thing. And, finally did that. And I was like, oh, shit, you could do shit with this. And but now it's just gone too far where they're really just not doing the artistry of mixing. And people don't let them do the artistry. Sitting there like a jukebox, man,
That's true.
Yeah, it's looking at the frauding charlatans. That's a good point about the old rockers doing it, man. And those guys come out. I know we didn't talk about it. See those idiots getting caught by the Coldplay concert, and they were found on the jumbotron. The CEO canoodling with his HR rep or whatever.
Yeah, that was crazy. And they both were married too.
Both married. You know what's whack? He could have handled it. If he just handled it GQ smooth, he'd be fine today. He'd be not worried about shit today. If he just did a wave or like a little turn or something like that, they dove like a grenade was thrown up to the fucking up into that balcony. Like, get away from me, bitch!
Man, whole life was over. Now I wonder if you saw in the news this week those 3 badass kids that got caught stealing at Walgreens.
I saw there's so much going on, like all the things going on. But I think I've seen part of it, and were they not caught?
They were caught. They couldn't leave the store, and the kid was like counting 1, 2, 3. You better let me out there. and then I saw another thing where it was like we think it was the mother. They said it was their sister talking about. We got food, and that was just snacks.
Yeah,
and, I was like, "Oh my god, that was a low point."
yeah. Saw a little bit of that. That was in there.
Somebody sent them kids to that store. Ain't no way.
You think so?
Yeah, somebody sent them kids to that store. Ain't no way.
Maybe. I don't know, man. It's really hard to tell what the hell goes on in homes and in kids' mind. Go, you're minors. You won't get jail time for it.
Exactly.
This type of shit.
They snuck out. And then the one weird part about it is I didn't even know I thought that little one of them was a girl. He was a whole boy. I said he gonna be zesty when he get older.
Yeah, I think they even made it in the one clip I saw about that. I think it led with that. Like, no, this is a girl. Like, yeah, they had some sort of exchange. I think the adult was talking like, what? Really? Which sucks. It sucks to be an adult in that case.
No, it sucked. It sucked is you, and they turn like a certain age, and they have to look back and they see that.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. There was that. There was the Shein robbery, a whole bunch of all that stuff. But one of the main ones, Pop is the true devil, defrauding charlatans. It's not even heavy metal. It's none of that other stuff. It really is. The devil is in pop music, the way that they conduct stuff and go through it. All that in sync stuff, even when they have the boy bands and all that shit. It's scary, a little bit of an industry, more so than the ones that kind of tell it how it is, what that is. Yeah, so I did a video this week and last week, a follow-up this week, that had to do with the Cincinnati brawl. You familiar with that one, right? You HNIC, where are you?
Yeah, where the white boy got beat up by all the black.
And the white woman too. Yeah. That I think she was in company, but just the way, you did hear about that. The way that it unfolded, the way that it went, and how quickly it went there. When now, if you pick that story, like 1 million people are getting jumped like every day. Fox News had like around the news coverage of the shit because what it appeared to be was how they called it a mob attacked these so-called innocent white people. And we only had the context in there. So we had just people flying in. This was another example that black people are animals and look how they act. It was a chance for Tatum, Hodge twins, these guys. First of all, we have to do weeks of study with individuals. Like there are sellouts, there are bootlickers and all this. But what exactly these guys think they're really accomplishing by pointing and laughing at people that look just like them? I don't get the voidancy in their minds, in their head, that where they think that's appropriate, or they're on a team,
The problem that I have with them is that, to me, all money is not good money. And so they are entertaining white people that have a problem with, they feel like, okay, this is their justification. I'm making money off of them for hating me and hating my culture. So I'm going to go along with it. And I don't care, you guys don't, you black folks don't pay my bills,
Right.
So a lot of them, and it's funny, they say it with a serious face, like it's so believable. But I want to know where these males live, what area of town they from, like what, where are they living, to be able to give this commentary where people when they walk outside, people don't recognize them and say, hey.
Right.
They're living they're not living in neighborhoods around us.
And is it just no situational awareness where they don't think they've ever been judged or disrespected because of their half race? Well, they've never encountered any of that adversity because they weren't.
What it is. They're around people that say, you guys are different. You ain't like them over there. You ain't like them N-words over there. Those are N-words, and then you are black people. Like, and they just, they want to be the token.
Believe in it.
Yeah, they want to be the token. They want to be recognized. They want attention. They want to be loved. And if they can't get love, by and we love, and this is the one thing about us that kind of like is somewhat our downfall anyway. We embrace everybody, every race, everybody. We are the one, like, we embrace everything,
right?
So for you not to feel like you being loved on this side, to go over there because and be that token, and they love it. They love getting little pats on the head from them. They don't see it that way, you know, until they're pulled over.
Well, that's the thing that O'Shea Duke Jackson always titles his videos. Whoever finally got their Negro wake up call, and I hate that because it's so. Even when they're discussing the person that they're discussing, except sometimes the odd politician that actually does get their Negro wake up call, but he uses that for everything. And my thing, for these guys, I'm sure they had several wake up calls that just didn't register because now, especially with the numbers that they have and the content that they're doing, they got affirmation and validation that somebody's listening, and it's just ethically. How could you put your head on a pillow? I guess it's unless it's a pillow of money, where you could be like, I betrayed. Their mother is black. I betrayed my family, whoever else, nation of people. But I did a good day of a video of laughing and pointing. It's just besides it being like an unproductive, it's just shitty. You're a shitty person to laugh at the dysfunction of your own people like that. And it's not between us. You know what I'm saying? We're not laughing in a group. He's laughing at all of us for some reason. They think they're better.
Yep.
It's all of us, and then there's Tatum. There's all of us, and then there's Hodge twins. And this other chick, Marty.
And what's really funny about it is that those white people, they know. Like, they don't think that they are doing it because they really believe, this whole white supremacy stuff. They think that they are really laughing at those black guys for doing that stuff. They're very entertained by us shitting on other people. And it brings me to what was I watching? Okay, so I follow Lord Jamar.
Boo! I didn't know you still followed him.
No, I he was on Vlad, right, just the other day, and he was talking about that flat Earth stuff, right?
What a moron!
He just I just typed in. I was like, what a dumbass. That's just what it is. But there's something that he does that lets me know that he hates women. Lord Jamar hates women. I'm gonna tell you why. Because when he thinks that a man is doing something, or anybody is doing something against anything, he's just like, you're acting like a broad.
Okay. I'm saying okay because I want to jump in.
Wait.
You've heard me say sometimes like that's not dude shit. All right, go ahead.
There's a difference, okay?
Right. I think
because he's making a derogatory. He's already made derogatory remarks about women in general. So what are they acting like? So anytime somebody, it doesn't matter if it's not that they're doing feminine stuff. Mm-hmm. He was talking about how they were discussing gravity, and then he was explaining that a plane, and he didn't know what he was talking about. And he's like, you want us to believe everything you say because you're acting like a broad. So now or you're being a broad because that's what broads do. Like, so he wasn't making a reference like as if a man was acting like a feminine. He was basically saying that when you believe anything that you don't know and you don't believe, you're being a broad. Like, because that's what women are.
Right.
Like we don't know no better.
And how could he say that doing the podcast with Rod Digger too? Like, that's just disrespectful, man.
But the weird part about it, he don't do a broadcast with her no more. But the weird part about it is that he had like a little white around his mouth and he looked ate up a little bit. And I said, I wonder if he's on that stuff. But he looked like he dibbled and dabbled. It looked like he was, You know, it looked like he's,
Uh,
allegedly.
well, he smokes like a mofo, and
Right,
it's not a good look for him to be doing that stuff.
but right, but you don't know what's in that. It could be Primos. I mean, the dude is over here, getting extra high. I mean,
Yeah.
I know the sign. Like, you don't start having issues with your teeth and your mouth, and you're not doing your mouth with, that locked jaw, that shaking of your jaw, your
Hmm.
mouth. You
Hmm.
don't do that when you're just smoking that. So,
Yeah, I got you.
but
I got
but here's the problem, because Vlad is a culture vulture, right?
you. Hmm.
So if you look at the titles of Vlad's, titles, when he does his little, things with him, you could tell he's like really roasting this man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I want to know how much money that Lord Jamar is getting just to sit up there and how thirsty, because it
Be a
can't be a lot of
jackass.
money.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If he pays more to certain guests than he would like other guests, is it like a one shot? This is what you get, sort of deal. And they did fight about that. That's what one of their first dust ups were about. The being paid, certain payments being on the show. I think who was that? Maybe Marlon Wayne started that. Like, man, if I'm going to be on your show, I want this much. And I think it kind of started with that because people already felt like Vlad is a culture vulture, blah, 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 this, that, the other. I didn't really find anything because a lot of people accuse Vlad of being like the feds, this and that, but it don't stop people from talking.
Yeah, I don't think he's a Fed. I think he's about the numbers. I think he knows how YouTube works. I think he knows how much money he can make off of YouTube. And I think he actually kind of understands how, how many views he's going to get on a video, and
Mhm.
and he's basing it off of that. I really do think so. But then at the end of the day, he wants to make money. But what kills me is it just goes along with what I've been saying. If another person do exactly what Vlad is doing, and in the same way, same platform, same everything, he
Mhm.
would not be making as much money as Vlad is.
Well, I think you're right, but I do have to give Vlad some credit. He was going a while before I actually tuned in. I mean, he got some decent, he does a decent interview. When he wasn't just doing
Yeah,
it
he
for the
does.
clout and all that stuff, he asked good questions. He didn't put himself on film. He knew how to set that camera up to get the most out of the person that he's interviewing. His he didn't just run around and ask questions because he was infatuated with this guest. He actually did a good job, and that sets him apart from damn near 90% of the podcast and things going on YouTube. Number one, you can't just have the guest over there. You got to know the questions. It's very clear that at least at that time he did his research. He was able to keep the conversation going. If any of these dudes didn't feel about talking about a case or this, that, they had the right to back out of that. But one of the problems with these guys that jump on, they can't wait to be in front of a camera and a mic and tell all their business. And they go, oh, Vlad, you get me. Nobody got, where'd you think this was going to be broadcast? The internet, the world, you know? And I just think so he did that. Then he started doing he started catering to more of the trap and drill and all this other kind of stuff going on. People, that wasn't really his demo at the time because of this internet thing was opening up. People, now we knew our old school people had a voice. Like, hey, what are these people up to? And they could have been on these shows and doing interviews and updating the public about what they're doing. Now, the thing also where Vlad fell off was that in the comment that he made about Farrakhan and didn't take it back until like many years later, right? Where he didn't really have any right to, where I think he was feeling himself also, a little too much with that, making those statements too. So a lot of people, if they had to draw a line in the sand, I think there was a time where you kind of had to draw a line in the sand of, I'm going to watch this guy as much. Number one, his content wasn't as good, but it's still doing the numbers that it did because he's now there's lower hanging fruit. that likes that sort of stuff to see these kind of guys that might not even be around for another interview, you know. So I don't know. Obviously not as good. Some bullshit. Don't like Lord Jamar. I you know, that was one of the first
He's
tapes I
trash.
stole from the music store, the brand Nubian one. Rock that tape. And
I always liked the Grand Puma, so that's just really that's what really. And then yeah, that was, and when he went solo, it was kind of it was. I was really that's when I really got into him.
right. And I don't, who knows what he does, but uh, substance wise, he was a Hollywood guy for a little bit too. He has his substance out there. Obviously, he doesn't. He's been on there real smoked out, especially when he did his the thing on Godfrey with Professor Dave, and he crashed out there. Right? He said, "I was out of sorts." Blah 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 blah. Why would you roll up to Vlad looking like a slob again, unless you're like mad needy? And a lot of people suspect that maybe he is. Get what does he have going on in the industry and acting? He used to act. Brand new music coming out. I mean, this is basically his bread and butter doing the podcast right now, which would be okay. But if he wasn't such a moron, the only
I know what he got going on. It's called drugs, but okay.
yeah, all of that too. I think he's an idiot. I think he did a good job. I will give him credit for that UMAR interview.
Yeah, I give him credit for that.
I actually think he did half a decent job. He was sober then.
Yeah, I actually talked to him before he did it. I asked him why was he doing it, and and he was just like, well, it's not what you think. Go ahead and watch. So I was like, okay, cool, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's cool.
And after that, now with all that flat earth stuff, you can tell he's never been on a plane before because just the way he talks.
Probably never been out of New York before. God damn. Like, right, there's that. There's just no imagination outside of his few blocks. You know what I'm saying? And just for him to, I can't believe he brought up his flat earth shit on Vlad. Now I need to go see how this idiot, because I have a feeling it felt like there was no break from Professor Dave. Did you see that one, by the way? The clips from that?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing, and I watched Professor Dave's whole version of it.
And I did do a show on it, shortly after. But you weren't looking for me back in those days, man. Yeah, I mean that whole thing was just odd. But besides that crash out being like, you didn't a bad analogy, but you didn't come back down to earth after that. You didn't, if you were fucked up, you didn't be like, the fuck am you what the hell do you call it? Double what the hell do you call it? Not double tap, double down.
Yeah, he went to some two white guys and they clowned him, and they made a watermelon analogy or something towards him.
I think it was a tennis ball.
Okay.
No, somebody else made the watermelon analogy.
It was them two white
Holy
guys.
shit, that was so funny. It was Dante Nero. Because I think they were talking to the same guy previously when they were setting this up. And one of the things he said, have you ever heard him say related to a watermelon? Like, where the fuck does he get this watermelon from? Because he's talking to us, and he just does this whole thing, is a watermelon, and then you get your fried chicken. It's just like, what the hell is this guy doing? I need to watch that again, because the whole thing was just wild and funny, and tragic to see this dude. I'm not going to say look up, but in the golden era of hip hop, if you left it there, if you left it at 96, the don't let it go to your head after all that shit passed, that would have been fine. I'd like to hear what he's going to say, respect. But now, dude is repping flat earth. like a crackhead. Not even a crackhead. Like
Colors of the sky fade with the setting.
Oh, sorry about that.
that. Are you your spaceship launching? What the hell are you doing over there?
No, it's my new phone. It's setting its own self up. Don't worry. Don't worry about
Oh,
that.
what kind of phone? Did you get an Apple?
Yeah, I got
Oh,
a
look at
16.
you. Look
Well,
at you.
I had to upgrade because I got tired of using that the port. I like USB C, and that's probably the only reason why I upgraded.
The new one, the new weird one. The
Yeah.
USB, the 3.2. I
No,
know
yeah,
that.
I didn't like their cable for the other phones, so I decided to upgrade so that every device I have plugs in the
Oh,
same thing. So because of my Mac, my iPad,
nice.
they all use the same. Yeah.
Nice.
So
Makes
that's why
sense.
I did it. Yeah.
Look
So
at you. Look at you. That's
so
cool, man. I get that. But yeah, finishing off Lord Jamar there. He just it's such a shame because they say like never meet your heroes and stuff. And I think that was at a time, dudes are out of the business for like 20, 30 years. But now there's like virtually no out of the business. You can't walk away, especially if you choose to engage to be a social media. That's what it's for. It's good for these entertainers that sort of need that contact with fans and all that kind of stuff too. But it's like I hate that. Sorry, the frog popped up. I started reading that and then forgetting what the hell I was saying. What was I saying? Back to Lord Jamar, just trying to wrap that up. Anyway, yeah, after all that, it's just not a good look for him. Maybe things were better when you didn't know everything that's on that person's mind. You didn't know John Wayne was a racist and all that shit about Disney, and you maybe had a good childhood, or even you didn't know when you were a kid in the 80s watching WrestleMania, you didn't know Hulk Hogan was a freaking racist at the time and stuff like that, But that guy needs to go somewhere and not talk as much because it's embarrassing. There's no woman, there's no nothing that's like, hey, try not to talk as much. Something. Well, we know, according to you, he doesn't respect women, and that's the way, and I do understand what you're saying about that. It's like his insult is to liken you to a woman, but not even on an intellectual woman, just that
yeah, like
he
you're a
wants to knock you
dumb
down a
broad.
level. Right.
Right. So he's basically calling you a dumb broad because that's how broads are. Women
Right.
act like that. You're a dumb broad if you believe, because broads only believe dumb shit. Like
Because he doesn't have a intellectual equivalent in a female at all.
yeah.
He's never met one. that's
And he's probably alone by himself and have a lip biscuit. That's what it is.
Oh, who knows? And on his block, he's probably the man or whatever like that. But yeah, man, totally.
I think his wife left him, so who knows? Yeah.
I don't doubt it. Could only deal with crazy for so long unless your business is so intertwined that you're just getting a divorce would mean like you need a forensic financial scientist to divorce all your finances and business ties together. A lot of people just like, oh, you take upstairs, I'll take downstairs, but it's over. What up, Steph? In the house. Steph the Vest. We haven't spoken in a long time. You haven't jumped on and given your opinion or anything lately. Hope it's good. Hope you're doing all right. So what else you got? Was that it for now, or you want to check out other stuff?
Man, that was it. Look, I have my look. Those little topics came out of nowhere.
Nice. You come up here freestyling, bro.
Yeah. I put it out there.
So there's a whole bunch of other things, but first we'll get back. Well, we got to okay. Well, let's split this part up, and then we'll do something else, and then we got something else as well. But I just wanted to get back to while we got a couple more people here as well. Give a shout out and props to Q Butter. he did send out that message of why we concentrate on it. Wasn't, he did it in a good way. I got a super duper paraphrase over here. The attention, especially because this is a busy couple weeks in the UMAR sector. But he did give a note out. Q Butter did give a note out saying like, all the energies, and we're not giving enough props to those of us that are in the mix. Now, people like Q Butter who are busy leading normally don't even take the time to put out things like that. I think it was more of just a friendly reminder that real things are still happening while we're consumed with this, right? And but I think he's opened a new location, another new school. He's got that going on. I think around 5 or 6 at this point. And I just thought it was a good thing that he was discussing, that he brought to people's attention and whatnot. Let me see what the fraud is saying over here before we switch it up. They tried to make Elvis be the king of rock, right? When he stole his hits, first of all, that was in the day they couldn't go backtrack. There wasn't they couldn't go back to the artists and all that, all the black artists, or pay them like pennies or pay them nothing at all, or signing their publishing away for generations to come. Even that's discrimination and you put that in the reparations funds, all that stuff where everything was capitalized on. Otherwise, jeez, Bootsy Collins, hell yeah, all these guys. There's a guy. Do your research on this. I think he died within the last few years, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a gentleman by the name of Bernie Worrell, I believe is his name. See if you know that name, Bernie Worrell.
Let me see.
Now, okay, I'll give you a second there.
Spell his last name.
It could be Worrell, or it may not be.
He's a keyboardist.
He wasn't just a keyboardist.
Oh, he's part of Permanent, the Funkadelic. Wait a minute. Let's see. Known for blending funk, rock, R&B, and experimental sounds with a heavy emphasis on synthesizers and the Hammond B3 organ. Signature helped define the P-Funk sound by bringing in complex orchestra arrangements and pioneering use of Mongols, synthesizers, and funk music.
So
he worked with Talking Heads on Jack Bruce, Most Def. Oh wow, crazy.
Okay. So that article doesn't give him enough credit. What he's actually responsible for real, is the funk beat, like that synthesizer, dum 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 dum, dum dum dum, like that stuff is him. So he remember that movie I think Samuel L. Jackson did, where he was like this Svengali. I know I shouldn't use that name around you guys. He's this guy, but he was a musician, right? Anybody remember that? Where Samuel L. Jackson had to act crazy. He was a musician. They took him to Juilliard, that sort of stuff. It wasn't a great movie.
Vaguely, I vaguely remember that movie.
So basically, that was Bernie Worrell. His life. He was out of his mind, avant-garde, autistic sort of guy. He didn't get along with anything outside, but music was his deal. So he was musically gifted, and like he was a prodigy, I should say. Not even gifted. He was a child prodigy. And as time would go, he did his shows and everything, but fell into bad times, drugs, like everybody else when they did that the LSD, the psychedelic stuff, right? He was doing that. So somewhere along the line, Funkadelic and Parliament made up with him, and he fills in to do this stuff. And the sound that you hear Parliament and everybody else that ripples that music after that is from Bernie Worrell. That's how big that guy is. But you would never know his name, I guess you just wouldn't. But he was that talented, and he was that. I'm only saying this because of
Yeah, he lived a long time. He died in 2016. He was 72.
16. Okay. Yeah, and he was a lot of these guys, man. A lot of these guys, Jimi Hendrix. And I remind everybody of this. If you are a fan of Jimi Hendrix, don't tell me you're a fan or you like his music until you experience his blues record. That's all it's called. Jimi Hendrix Blues. Listen to that a few times. I don't care what you think you know, what you thought you know, the things you listened to before. That is not, even Jimi Hendrix says that's not really who he is. When it comes down to the core of how Jimi Hendrix described himself in his music, he was a blues musician. And that is like a project that was never released at the time. And if you like it, or if you just like music in general and you just want something a little different to listen to, get that Jimi Hendrix Blues. And we got Tiz back in the house. What happened to? Is it raining outside by you? Where are you?
No, not raining by me. I had a phone call from my son, so I had to take that. So
hell yeah,
nice.
Good for you.
That was all, man.
Yeah, man, gotta do what you gotta do. It was abruptly too. It was like, what the hell happened to Tiz?
Hey, man. Hey, look, man. When it's time to turn on daddy mode, everything else get cut short.
Hell,
I lie to you, man. No disrespect.
Oh, none taken. Totally understood. Glad you did that, and you got to do that, man. Definitely. So, hope everything's going well there, my man.
Yeah, all is well, man.
And I know it's good going into the weekend hearing his little voice.
Yes, you know that, but yeah.
Very cool. As we keep going on down here, I'm just catching up on a few of these. Yeah, Elton John, I like him as a musician, good writer, good musician, unique voice. He's not soulful like that, but he did some stuff. Man. Elvis was a fucking thief. He certainly did, man. Certainly did. You got to pull the strings. I don't even know what that's from, Steph. Oh my God, I'm not going to catch up with all this. Let's see. You start stopping on any sporting event, guess what's going to happen? Buddy boy, you're going to make a noise playing in the street. Going to be big someday. Going to be a big man someday. Billy Preston. Big display. All right. Hold on with me. Just getting through a lot of these. And then we'll get to Freddie Mercury. Yeah. I'm not sure. Was he from an African island, or was it
Vanilla Ice?
India? I think it was India. I don't know. We have to double check that one. All right. We're listening to Hendrix. Yes. Check out that album, Stephanie, the blues ones. For real. All right. So we were talking about that. Were we done with that, or was I bringing up something new, Joe? Where were we going?
Bringing up something new.
Bringing up something new. All right. I broke it up with this. Let's I want to get this out of the way because it's one of these ones that came up in the YouTube streets this week. I watched one video, of course, then I watched another, and what this one is about. I'm glad to have a woman on the panel over here with this. Is this argument? And now, again, let me preface this with, I don't want to go into the whole FBA thing, ADOS. This is not my point of this. I want to argue what seems to be a big argument now with black women, American black women, boycotting African hair shops, particularly the 24-hour braiding shops, because now the quality of service that they're getting isn't good. Have you guys even heard about this?
Yeah, I'm not boycotting them.
I'm a man, so no.
Yeah,
I mean, you could hear about it.
I heard
And
about it, but I'm not boycotting them. I'm gonna tell you this. Listen,
mhm.
okay. They're just trying to hustle and make as much money as they can. They do have, like I get my hair braided from them too, but they're just braiders. They just there to braid. They braid a little too tight. Some people, um, that's just what it is. That's just their culture. If you pay close attention to how they braid in other countries, that's just how they braid their hair. But
Mm,
the thing about it is that in the United States, like we put so many chemicals, we do so much to our own hair as it is.
mhm.
So we expect a miracle. I feel like you can vet them better. Of course, I think that when they come here, that those are pretty much some of the jobs that they can get hustling.
Right.
But when you think about it, it's kind of like slave labor. Because I went in there, and it'd be like three girls on one head, but they be working
Wow.
24 hours. I'd be wondering if they need to go sit down somewhere.
Mm,
But they're trying to get money, and then they're trying to put their kids through school or whatever. They have goals. And these are the same women that be wearing them sew-ins in their hair and paying all that money for weave and all this and that, and go there sometimes and get their hair done for $150. They're just mad because they charge more now. It used to be
mm,
even cheaper than that, but I don't know. It just depends. You just have to vet your hairstyle. I used to braid hair back in the day, and I'm gonna tell you this: I don't braid hair because either women are picky, they don't know how to take care of their hair, or they want a particular braiding hair, like the cheaper version of it. They don't want the kind that matches their hair, and they don't want to pay no money.
mhm.
So
So with
I,
prices and everything that came out, prices increasing and stuff is
yeah,
like what is, do you think it's properly adjusted for inflation?
yeah, it's just for inflation because they're hustling or whatever. But
Sure, sure.
I know where I'm from, like in Illinois, like my little cousins, they all know how to braid hair, and they're young, and they braid each other's hair.
Mm,
And that's how they get by. But I know they were braiding grown women's hair, and they young. They were little kid, because they learned how to braid when they were young. That's their little hustle. You got 15, 16-year-olds that know how to braid hair now. But I
right.
think that yes, inflation. Some states braiders don't have to have a license. You have to have a
Mm,
license for everything else, but to braid.
is that
So
right?
yeah,
I had no idea there was that much into the braiding business. And one of the things I did learn is that whatever, first of all, they talk about Africa like it's this little island.
yeah.
Like it's like all they have a beef with all of Africa is fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I learned that why it's African or whatever the deal is, what they bring is a different style of braiding as well. There's certain things that they do in the US that they kind of
It's
they don't do there, you know.
Well, when I was over there, I could get if I was, if I didn't braid my own, but if I was over there, I could get my hair braided just like over here for like that. It's almost $200-300. They
Mm,
charge $40.
no. Because they're just doing it, man. It's not the whole setup. And if first of all, I was surprised to hear that some of these places like it's a 24-hour thing. And I never know what's going on in like nail shops and all that shit going on. But I'm like, there's got to be a market for that to even consider. First of all, certain businesses just got to step up, man. I like all sorts of food, man. I like West Indian food, Jamaican food in particular. Why do you could get any food any time of the day, any time of the day, like these halal mofos. Their stores are open like 24 fucking hours. They do not close. The Jamaican store, like 6 p.m. Like it's your problem if you don't get your dinner by the time that they're not switching up for anybody. If I want to order anything at 2 a.m, I could get that DoorDash right to my step of any type of food except Jamaican food. Because they're like, fuck changing. I don't care what's going on out there. So I don't know. Anyway, my point is like, I didn't even know the business was, I guess, say so good that there'd even be even thinking about being 24-hour braid shops. Like, that is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. But what can you do? What can you do? So I don't know. I just find it weird. And I find this too. What we were talking about earlier is like, why is it so easy to turn on your own? There's so much. I'm sure they're being treated way shitty in other places, other establishments, by other people. Why is it such a vigorous and ferocious war against people that look just like you? This is where you're not fighting the whole system that's bringing your ass down, or these businesses that don't value you and your money the way they do other people. But it's so easier to pick around and pick one. It's like what is it? Hollywood Shuffle. Remember when Keenan Ivory Wayans, he was doing like the little ballet scene, whatever it is, and they go to fight him, and he picks the one guy. He's the one guy. He doesn't fight the whole crew. He just goes to the weak guy. And then when they threaten him again, he goes back to the little guy. You want some more? It's like that. I hate that. If I could say it's a thing within our community to fight these small fights, to cancel, to do boycotts.
Exactly.
Against these establishments, when you won't do it against other establishments. We gotta. I don't even know if that Target shit is still going on, because they started it. There was never any stick-to-itiveness, no updates around it. Never even knew when the ending date was for that. The last successful boycott was like the buses that people actually stuck with, that actually sacrificed and helped each other fill the inefficiencies that were needed from ignoring that business. I don't know. Something about that really just rubs me the wrong way when it's like, black women are gonna okay, go to a white salon if they could do that. Then if you think it's gonna be so much better, it's the quality. The fact is that you're trying to bring down these other black women because they're not American. I don't know, but this is what I see, and it's big business. All this fight about hair, things that aren't even yours in the first place. I don't know. Braiding is big business now because of the U.S. lawsuit on hair relaxers. Most of the popular relaxers have disappeared from. Is that right? Supply stores because of liability. Oh, okay. I had no idea. Why is there a lawsuit? Have disappeared. Do you know anything about that, Joe? Why that would disappear?
There's a lawsuit for hair relaxers, but they're still in the store. They're just not in like Walgreens and Walmarts and Targets anymore. But they're still in all them Asian stores. So they still have a lot of them in there. But I don't think a lot of people, now that natural hair is a thing, a lot of people have moved towards those products.
Mm-hmm.
All
right. What is defrauding? Try to you relaxed your hair, bro? What'd you have? The Jerry curl, or you wanted the Dominic Wilkins?
He said he looked like with a wig.
He put in quotes, a carefree curl.
You know what happened to me when I moved there? I have natural hair, and they said this happening when you go to Dominicans to get your hair done. But what they'll do is they'll shampoo your hair with a relaxer, or like some type of shampoo that it has different, because they have shampoos now that chemically goes in it. And I remember this lady did that to my hair because she pressed it, and I was wondering, I'm like, it's still straight, and there's I'm the kind of person I go outside, and and changed it, so I had to regrow my hair out again just to go back to natural. But they will. You have to watch the shampoo that they're using because you can smell it. But yeah, they said the
Oh,
Dominican
right.
watch they do that.
Right. I remember that. All right. All right. Defrauded. I'm not going to let you hang out there like that, man. Yeah. When I was a kid, my mom used that product on my head also. Because
Got you.
you know what's so funny is you're an adult, you're growing, like you find out what I could buy this shit, and I've been cutting my hair, shaving my head for years, and doing that. I'm thinking back in those days, why didn't they just cut my goddamn head? Like, just get me to the barber, man. And so that was my mom's thing, to straighten it and then braid it so we wouldn't have to worry about it, sort of deal. And same deal, man. I look like I fucking from India or some shit.
Because it costs money to cut your hair. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even like, back then it wasn't even the barbershops. It was like a family member that was cutting your hair.
Yeah, man. But I was like, holy man, you couldn't anticipate this. Like, I gotta go to public school, dude. You killing me. Killing. This is automatic first period beatdown by showing up to school with this, man.
And look, my mom put a curl in my hair too. I was like, I don't know if it was just a thing back then or what. I was like, why are you putting this curl, Jerry curl? Everybody had curls back then. Shoot, I seen a whole family of Jerry curls.
My uncle had the nastiest Jerry curl. It was black pillow always, man. And I don't know. Remember I tell you I just did stupid things as a kid? Like, I went looking around the house with a flashlight because I had one, and my sister got all paranoid and told my parents, like, stuff. I also got a knife.
You had lint in your Jerry curl, you know what I mean?
All that I had it. So a knife came in this little kit that you buy with like the ruler and the little scissors and all that kind of stuff. One of those kits that you get. And I started cutting stuff up. And one of the things I cut was my uncle's activator bottle. And he just lost his shit. And I had to take my little allowance money and buy him his Jerry curl juice back. I wanted the Jerry curl that your dad had. I don't know. It just doesn't. How do you go to bed with all that oil?
You supposed to be. They was wearing plastic caps. Remember?
You got to wear a cap, and then you're wearing that to bed.
Yeah, they was wearing that plastic cap to bed.
Or you got to look like backstage Patti LaBelle thing wrapped on your head.
Yo, I remember my dad had a curl. It was juicy too.
You think
they had one curl that was kind of like drier, but it was still made their hair curly. And I think they didn't use it wasn't carefree. I think it was like soft and free. And it gave them a different type of look. And then you had Wade Newell. It was supposed to be the one that you can wear your hair blow out and then wear it curly. People were using that one.
Oh, Lorna's got this thing, relaxer lawsuit by African American women because they have proven that relaxers cause fibroid. Oh, no shit. I mean, and that's gotta be it for a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of these things were right. Who's the person responsible for that? CJ Walker? Was it? I'll tell you the name. Somebody help me out here. But since then, where that probably didn't have to go through the FDA, to get approval.
Remember, they used to call it back in the day a conch, and then they used to see like potato peels and lye. They used to use lye, not and then they would put it on your head until your scalp burned.
Yeah,
you know why?
That's what they used to do. I remember my mom and my sister having those days. I remember the hot comb and all that stuff they have to go through. But the fact is, not that it's obvious like that either, Lord, but you're putting this poison that straightens your hair on your skin. Like, it's absorbing you. Like, you're just not supposed to have that shit, to be in contact, to have it sit like that. Everything, I've cancer has affected my life in quite real ways. But when I stop to think about it or read the literature, just some of the things that we do on a daily basis, like deodorant is poison. I'm aware of it because I don't want to stink and stuff. You know, the cream, all the stuff where they say it's not animal tested. This now forget about the shit that you're eating. That's literally just killing your body. But yeah, these topical things and black women especially, and what a horrible. Although it's helped people, what a I don't even know how to say this. What a horrible sale of illusions to mimic the mainstream people to look like because of your identity. And this isn't a shot to anybody not keeping it natural or anything like that. Do what you need to do, maintain yourself. But that's kind of where that came from. Just thinking of the history of what people had to do to sort of fit in or look less authentic to yourself. You know, I think that's just some crazy stuff, man. And but whatever, out of that stuff came the products, and dudes did it too, right? Went through a couple waves in the 20s, 30s, that sort of stuff, and then back to the 80s with the jerry curls and the what James Brown was doing, what the hell Reverend Al Sharpton had going on too, man. So relaxers, they could be a big round. Yeah, I get that. I get that, Lorna. Wow, I didn't think there was something active going on with that right now.
You gonna get them. You gonna be like, they're gonna say something like, "Were you wearing jerry curls back in the 80s?"
Mm.
There's a and it's gonna be some class action loss.
Lucky that's just some greasy shit, but yeah, man, if you're sitting in there with other oils just seeping into your head.
You know the jerry curl is still around, right? They call it the Gina curl.
What?
Look it up, like, and
You're
it's
lying.
still a jerry curl. Look up Gina curl.
What's the difference with the Gina,
Nothing.
like Martin Gina?
Yeah, nothing.
What
I don't
is it
know
for women?
It's a jerry curl, but if you type it in Gina curl, right? They just renamed it and they giving all these women jerry curls again. So like jerry curl has
Who's getting jerry curls? Women or men?
Yeah, women, but they're
women.
Right, but they're calling it a Gina curl. Like, look it up.
And because women are getting it, it's Gina now.
No, it used to be called Jerry curl, but to revamp it, they call it a Gina curl. I don't know who started calling it that.
And what women are getting jerry curls?
But when I saw it, I said that's a Jerry curl.
What women are doing this? What industry? Where who's doing this? I wouldn't date it. Who?
They listen. If you see a girl whose hair is looking really curly, right, and it look like they look like a dryer curl, and they ain't got no weave in their hair.
They look like they just came out the shower.
Yeah, that's a Gina curl.
That's a Gina curl.
Yeah, somebody said that.
That greasy shit.
I'm reading it right, and look, I had to look it up. They said, here's a look at Gina curl, a specialized curl reforming treatment for texturized and curly and coily hair. Gina curl is an innovative salon-based curl reformer created by hairstylist Gina Rivera to offer a gentler, healthier alternative to the traditional relaxer and jerry curl and texturize. It's still a curl. They apply with chemical precise, tailored to a different section of the hair. It softens bonds and defines curls pattern, reducing frizz and bulk, and promotes moisture retention and long, lengthy growth. It's still a jerry. It's done. It's like a jerry curl. It was like, wait, it's a
woman with a freaking jerry curl. Got enough options with that shit.
Listen, you wouldn't even know she had one because they don't have that same strong chemical smell.
What if I had to put my hand through her hair or something like that?
Look,
I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? I should be wearing latex gloves.
First of all, we don't even want you putting your hand through our hair, so that's number
Hey,
one.
that's how I get down. First of all,
Listen,
all right.
you don't put no hand. You listen.
If
You
it's
can
going very well, my hands are gonna lock.
you can barely listen. You can hold on to a couple of braids, but that's about it. And that's it.
It's a rough thing when you're dealing with chicks with like super weaves and stuff. I am more for natural like that because it's like, do like that, man. I like to do the fingers there
I'm natural,
when I'm
but
doing stuff, and it's like, I can't even feel your scalp. This
I'm
material.
I'm natural. If I'm not natural, I'm wearing braids, or twists or something like that. But I'll just say this, the preference in my household is me to wear an afro. And I'm not wearing an afro because it's too much work, and I don't need my hair to be shrink because I got the shrinkage. I got that hair where it's like you pull it out, or you pick it out, and then it's big, and then like 2 seconds later you be like, where'd that length go? So I have to wear my hair stretched all the time. But I like in other cultures where they'll take a string to stretch their hair out. But no, it's too much work to wear an afro, so I wear it twisted or braided.
I hear that. Yeah, I could definitely hear that, man. But a woman these days with an afro, just beautifully cut, just like pow, who really
Y'all love
does
that.
the whole outfit. You're like, damn, girl.
Y'all love that. Y'all love that
It's
70s.
beautiful.
Y'all
It's
love
beautiful.
it.
You
Men
know.
love it. But the women that I don't take because I have the texture of hair that nobody wants. Like who they call it 4C.
What is it called?
4C. That's the texture of hair that nobody
Why would
uses.
you even know that? First of all, Jesus Christ.
The coil. It's like the hair that has the tightest
Where
coil,
does that come from?
and it retains the most water. So a
Like a
lot,
real
a lot of women want 4B hair. They want loose curl hair if they wear their hair natural because
right.
it doesn't shrink up, or they want the hair that's like water resistant.
Sound like an Ice Spice do.
Yeah, our hair is like, it soaks all the waters in. Like it takes so long for it to dry. You have to squeeze the water out out. So,
That
it's a not a prefer,
you
but
jump out of the shower and you do a shaggy do.
yeah.
A little
So,
Scooby Doo shake and then it's dry.
and then when it dries up, it be looking like it's 4 inches.
Oh man, see here, I've been shaving my head for like a long time. Not even when I wasn't like balding or I didn't have a little shininess on top like I do now. It's just such a pain to go through. I did that. I had the do rags. I had the wave. Remember that little jar? Remember the jar, man? It's like like weed could go in it now, but like it just had grease. And you would pat that down to get your waves, and then you put the do-rag on there, and then your little waves will come out. That's way too much work. Then you got into the high tops.
Would you date a woman that had waves and a high top and
You mean haircut like Anita Baker? What are you talking about?
like shorter than that, like waves and
Like
high?
just waves?
Yeah, like short. Short.
I'm okay with a few things. My thing is not even saying yes or no to the style. My honest answer really is how the woman wears it. It's
Yeah.
whatever she does, how
Yeah.
she presents it is because I don't know what's in style. I didn't know that for a long time. I didn't even know there were like fall colors and this fucking shit and like I'm just so out in my own head of what I do and not caring about that sort of stuff that it doesn't matter to me.
I find it very amazing. I love women who can wear their hair like superly short and still maintain a whole level of femininity with that look.
Yes.
They're like, they'll color it and they just look so beautiful, and they just have the shortest hair, and I just think they're beautiful just as much as I think women that can grow their hair out really long, but women that can maintain short hair and
I like that too. What I don't like, sorry,
go ahead.
what I don't like about women that wear the short hair,
Mm-hmm.
like fucking Yvette from Ados, is that when they get a fade, that their fade is more crisp. When I used to have hair, and I used to get the fade, and I used to see these women with fades, like, God, what are you if you have to walk up to a woman and be like, what do you use, the Andis on that? Like, what level do you use that? So my whole thing was just like, yeah, she can't have a better fade than me, because I used to, back then was maybe every 2 weeks on the regular, but then you start growing up, it's got to be like every week at least to get the lineup, that sort of deal. So if her lineup and her fade is just like on point all the time, you're like, how are you doing that, man?
Well, they probably, their barber lives in their house. So or they,
That's a red flag.
yeah, they know, the barber personally, what I'm saying?
You might not want to know that answer. If you, my man's at the house. You're like, oh shit.
But I love, I love how women hair, especially us. I love how so versatile that we can be. We can wear like waves, weaves, wavy hair. So versatile. What I just don't like is when a woman is just doing too much. Like the eyelashes is so huge, over the top. The hair is over. I can't. You know what? I can't stand.
You got to wake up tomorrow and do all that over again to leave your house.
I can't stand that whole long baby hair nonsense. That is the most annoying thing. Like, you got all you
the forehead cover upper.
Listen, I was told that only little kids, little babies have baby hair. And all that whooping, like back in the day, we used to just brush that stuff up in a ponytail,
Right. If that became a thing now,
man, them girls be having. It's like they didn't cut some of the front of their hair, or that's what it is. Some girl hair was broken off in the front, and they had to figure out a way to lay it down. And so that's where that come from. And somebody thought it was cool until all the girls started doing it. So now they look like they forehead pushed back.
It looks stupid. Let's say, Manuel, you need a woman who likes to get her hair. Feel that you don't want to be palming nothing.
Well, I don't mind. I don't mind a guy like playing with my hair, especially if you're gonna put oil in it, Emmanuel, and you're gonna brush it too. I have a blow drying brush. So if you're willing to do all that, you can play in my hair.
I'm doing it. Your hair is your problem. I'm gonna respect it, but it's like
you don't respect it. You're not gonna put oil on my hair.
None of that. That's your deal, dude. I'm not asking you to do shit around my head when I shave it. You do you. You do what you got to do with the hair, and or whatever that. Especially a dude that shaves his head. You're not gonna get the sympathy. You're like, why I gotta do your hair? Like, I solved my problem.
I didn't shave some heads off, hair off some heads. So.
You shaved heads?
Yeah.
With the straight razor, or you use the Andis?
Andis. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you're not doing that deal too. I almost trusted a woman to do the razor.
Oh, you're bald. That's easy.
It is. It ain't. Sometimes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you don't take care of your clippers and they stop cutting on
well,
you.
Yeah, that too. And if your hair kind of grows a little funny, I had an issue like starting a few years ago. I never really got acne as a kid or like bumps and shit like that. I was generally okay for the most part. I couldn't shave like how my dad would shave with one of those old school razors and it just be okay. I'd have to use the actual Andis, and there was one point in my life I had to use the thing, but I ran into issues when I started getting gray hairs.
Really?
It was after for my whole life, or just puberty, I could count like 4 gray hairs in my chin hair. Before I knew it, I'm getting white hair all in my beard, not really my mustache. And then if I normally shave, I might shave about I used to shave once a week, but now it's like twice a week. My head. And when the gray hair started growing in, they were like thick, strong, friggin' hair that was just giving me bumps after bumps, like on the top of my head, the side of my head, and all that. And I was going through a thing for a little bit because, of course, if you get a couple, and now it's like a fucking colony, and you use I use the splasher thing after Aqua Velva or just the alcohol on it. And that used to be okay with me. Now it's kind of, I guess now I'm adjusting. I'm not like an all gray guy, but I think like now is coming up. But for a while, I was looking for a bunch of solutions. And I used to shave my head with the Mach 3. After I did the Andis, when I got a little older into my 20s, I decided, I was like, oh, let me see what this Mach 3 does and do that. For over a decade and a bit, I was fine. No problems. Head a little tender when I started using the actual razor on it. I can't go all the way. I can't do backstroke on the top of my head. I got to do forward for the top, and then everything else could get back.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. Everybody.
But I've seen there's some people that could just go back with it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not one of those people. I can't use it on my face or if I was going to shave my mustache, which nowadays I never would because I look like a totally psycho lunatic with no facial hair, which I'll never do again. And
I wish I had like my mom has pure white hair and it's natural and it's thick and long and everything, but me
nice.
and it's like curly. But me, like I braid my hair with black, black hair. Like I could literally, well, I know how to braid the cover, but I don't really have that much gray hair. Like it's just I have so much black, black hair that you can't really see it. But every now and then I'll see it. I'll be like, oh wow, it's a piece right there. I lucked out. See what I know it's gonna get there. I know I'm gonna have a lot because my mom has a lot. So but,
I mean, we know what age bracket you're in. We're close. We're in there. So how much percent of, and I don't even agree with calling it gray hair because my aunt is like, it's gray hair. It's white hair. White hair is coming in, making the surface gray because it's blending in with the black. But it's really these white hair perpetrators that just come in like steel wool. I'm like, my original hair wasn't even that thick. You got this piece of hay coming out of my face.
Man, listen, I'm older now. I like men with gray hair. I'll be like, oh, silver fox.
What's your percentage? Are you half and half?
Who, me?
Yeah.
About what?
Your hair.
Oh,
white,
no, I'm
black.
I'm way more black now than gray. So
so you don't really have
it's gonna take I did see like one piece somewhere, but I was like, what? But no, I'm still more black than gray. So
yeah, a couple grays, a couple whites are now trying to get the mustache. So those I pick out because beyond anything, they're more distracting. There's two. I was at a wedding with my sister, and she had to direct her vision right to my gray nose hair, like the one that I was like, nah, I don't need to cut this before I go out to the wedding. And then she's like, you put this white nose hair. But I got one in the mustache, one or two in the mustache that I got to pick because my whole mustache isn't gray like that yet. So, all that fun shit you got to worry about. Oh, my God. I wanted to, I know Tiz jumped down. I don't know if he had to jump down again. I was going to ask him if he had a Tiz top 3 because we haven't done it in a while. Other than that, there's a couple more things we go into. If you're here for the ride still, how long are we in here? 2 hours about? That's a good time.
I got one more topic. Okay.
You got one more?
One more. I want to bring
all right.
So welcome to the new Umar Johnson sector.
Oh, shit. Oh, this is a big one.
Let me tell you something. So when Umar Johnson started begging for money, saying all his accounts got frozen and stuff, I have a theory. Because like right now, like everybody's talking about him. everybody, right? And this is not new for us. Like, we've been around forever. We already knew he was doing this. We already know the con game. We've been fighting. We've been talking our talk for the longest. I think what had happened is that when his daughter started being on TikTok, there were people like 30 and under that kind of knew who Umar Johnson was, saw him on the Breakfast Club, and they used to repost his videos, but they really didn't know too much about him. And because she's on TikTok and that 30, and then he responded in that 30-second, them 20-second clips.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's a new set of eyes on him. And so these young people are seeing this guy, and I'm thinking that's where this momentum is actually coming from. Because we've been talking our shit.
I don't know.
Because there's a lot of channels.
Now that this recent thing's been going on for a couple of weeks or whatever, holy shit, the amount of people that are dipping their... I just listened to some guy I never used to listen to just because of his title. And it was actually pretty good. He didn't want to trash Umar, and one of his things that he was saying, he quoted Minister Farrakhan as for saying, you don't point and laugh when a man is down or whatever. I'm paraphrasing. When you guys know better, go ahead. But it was more in that vein. So he made that very clearly, like that was his background, and he's not going to do that. But he also, not that he was trying to be biased, I think he was not as knowledgeable as he should have been, because he tried to do a little timeline, and it was like his beginning was very good, but he missed a lot of the stuff about like the SETI rant and him crashing out here, there, the other place. But he was one of the few that I saw that was trying, without being an Umarian, trying not to bash him, but trying to give you the news at the same time and give you the opinion. But a lot of people who generally just Umar wasn't a thing. And no fault, content creation is content creation, but how the news spread so much that now everybody who didn't have a foot in the sector is now, sharing their opinion with it. And it is truly, truly amazing. That chick, or that woman, shouldn't say that, Lene Stacks was on Tasha K today, telling her stories. So she was there telling about, her exploits and other things with Umar as well. And it's just how far this thing has gotten.
It's a kerfuffle behind that lady, though, because there's like, okay, so the sector, right?
Behind the lady, Lene, you
say?
Yeah, Lene, whatever it is,
yeah. So KKC interviewed her, right?
Right.
And so there was somebody else in the sector, which no, not them.
Okay.
They will remain nameless because they're not relevant. They wanted to reach out to her and interview her too. They were a little begging to try to get, her attention. And when she didn't fly their way, they started trying to insult her. And they were a little jealous that KKC got that interview. And not only did KKC get the interview before Tasha K, KKC got the interview and told them about how these people move and then to be mindful of these people. And so that really set them off. So in our sector, kerfuffle behind that too. It's kerfuffles going on.
Kerfuffle mania.
Yeah, all behind this lady. And the thing about it is, he didn't. The person was wanting to reach out to her. He didn't really have good intentions anyway. He just was. Once he, this is another way. First he interviewed the daughter. Now he wanted to talk to this lady. And when he got wind of KKC getting it, and then not only did KKC tell her about how they move, now that he was making slick comments about the lady he was begging to actually reach out to. It was crazy. It's crazy how at the end of the day, everybody knows Umar Johnson is scamming. You know, that's just what it is. He's a hustler.
Right.
He's doing all this stuff, and then here's another woman and what made me wonder is, like, was she not knowing, that women were saying that he was doing these things, or
I don't know. Like the thing you were saying, people know, and it's a wave of new people, but there can't be that many people that didn't know. Like I spilled the beans earlier around Christmas time when I was having dinner with my sister, that she actually liked what Umar was saying, and I had to break down the whole thing to her. But up to that point, I mean, it's my sister. I was like, I thought we shared better DNA than that for you to go. There's a clip that I did, also one of the videos too. I think one of my videos is called "He's Not Him," the comparison between him and Malcolm X. But it was basically a show where Umar went to an HBCU and he got not even a hero's welcome. You would think Prince came from backstage. Now, this isn't a thing of you don't cheer like that for a principal.
right?
You don't cheer like that even for community activists. This was some social media influencer come to visit your town type shit that he was getting that for, and I don't know. I don't think it's all newbies. I think there's just some stubborn people like KKC brought up. We were talking, or they were talking about a whole bunch of things and people, and basically kind of the same debate, but then reference, like, you have dudes like We On Lock,
He on Lock is just
who will not only sink with the ship, will hang on, will stay down there in the steamer room.
He going down with the ship. Part of the ship. He gonna be, listen. If Umar Johnson ever get locked up, he'll be putting money on his books. He's
going down with the ship. He's pulling Umar in the life raft. He won't even get in the life raft. He'll just hold a string and swim to shore.
Well, the funny part is, I get this call from my mother, right? Out of nowhere. Now,
Mama, no.
I've been in the Umar Johnson sector for a very long time, right?
Oh my God.
And I remember even talking to her about the Umar Johnson sector. So my mom calls me up one day. She, like, this is recent. She says, "Have you heard about this Umar Johnson?" And I said, "What'd you hear about?" I said, "Is he a preacher scamming? He's some scamming preacher." And I'm just cracking up laughing. And I was like, "What you know about?" He said, "I don't know. I just know he out here scamming. I've seen him all over. And I told my mother, I said, "You know what sector I'm from, right? Like, I originally from." She's like, "What?" I'm like, Umar Johnson. She said, "That's the guy you've been talking about. He's a scammer. This is crazy. What is?" She's like, "What is he? Does he have an issue with black women or something?"
Wow, your mom is saying this.
Yeah, like because she's seen these clips.
That's what I'm asking. How far did she go until she's like to come up with these questions? Like, this really bothered her.
She's watching these shorts,
Okay.
And she's like seeing him saying stuff like, "Fam, my bank account." So she's like, I said, "He ain't a preacher. He's so I explained to her what he was, and I think she had stumbled across Anton and I don't like him either." So she calls me back the next day and she said, "What about this guy? Does he hate women? Is he part of that them men that be sitting around hating women?" So my mother just stumbled across
wow. Wow. So is this a thing for we might see your mom popping up in the sector, man, now?
Yeah, my mom's she's a spectator. But she's like, "These guys just sit around hating women. And then you got this Umar." And I'm just laughing because it's like I've been talking about, like, you even heard me talk about, like, who did you think I was talking about? So then I had to explain to her what.
Okay, you did eventually tell her. Okay.
Right. And then I had to explain to her, where he came from. And she said, "Oh, I don't like them foundational, whatever the hell they."
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
I said, Tariq Nasheed, I don't like none of them people. I was
mhm,
like,
mhm. Nice, nice.
she just had me. I was just like, yeah.
We might have to call OG Mom on the panel.
Yeah, but my mother would be like, who is these people?
You,
That's
you would,
how
you think she would do that for real? You would let her do that?
my mom would be like, who is these people? And then look down, these are cyber people. Let me get on out of here.
That is hilarious. Well, if we want to have her one day, we should totally have her, man. What do you mind saying what state she's in? I just want to get her like a background. Is she still in?
Oh, my mom's from Chicago, but she live in Arizona. So
Okay. Okay.
so she gonna be like, yeah, she old school Chicago,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, she's cyber people. My auntie might say something like, "Is this AI?" Definitely. She'll be like,
No.
"What are y'all doing on here?"
That is funny, man.
Cause
That is
them older folks, they skeptical, and she's like, I said, I thought that was some AI, and I said, you see him on TikTok, don't you? Because my mom, she on TikTok. She
yeah.
said, yeah, I see them videos. Somebody made a cartoon of that man.
Is hilarious. I'd like to just learn about him now. I'm glad I was here for the whole mess, but just to have that experience of jumping on now and being like, what is this? Who is this guy? And just being disappointed all over again and being like, oh, discovering that there's this whole world. It's so wild
I
that this
I saw a clip that said something like the Breakfast Club is they were mad at the Breakfast Club for even having them on the show. Like the young people, when they find stuff and
as
it's
they should.
trending, they is eating him up alive. They making fun of him begging. They
Yeah,
they
that's
said,
the thing.
and the Cash App is these young people's thing. So, they really laughing at him now if his Cash App is
Oh
blind.
shit. Oh shit.
He can't even send money. I think
Not the way you said that. He can't even send money. What kind of third world? What kind of third world black leader are you? You don't even.
but I think that his account probably got frozen. I don't even think he really he had an account. I think somebody was reporting his Cash App again and all that. I don't think he really had a bank account. I don't think he was doing anything. I think he was spending that money as he was getting it. That's what I think.
Well, he would have to have some sort of account, right? I think he was also spending. He was just irresponsible and bullheaded as far as that money is concerned. I've blown like a lot of money at times in my life. Also went with some other things, and I'm just like, he has all the characteristics of somebody. First of all, he has no books.
Yep.
He has no books. He has no accounts. He has no accounting setup. He has nothing. For any of those things. So he didn't, and even going further back, he didn't even have really a business plan per se for anything or any strategy. He knew he wanted to release or bring the students in, grade by grade until both schools. But all those are just nice to do's. Like it sounds nice.
Those
He
are
didn't even put
brand-
any pen to the paper down to actually have a tangible plan to do anything.
Well, my thing is this. It goes back to what I say all the time. Umar Johnson couldn't even commit to having a place to live. So for him to commit to even trying to have a school or anything like that, they were bright ideas. He wasn't investing in anything. He talking about, when you do a fundraiser, it takes forever because people don't give money, like this or give money like that, he probably would have gotten money from people that were, celebrities. Like if he had a plan, and that was telling he didn't have no plan. I remember that he blocked me because I told him, I said which software are you gonna use to start your school? You gonna use what do you and I was naming them, and he was like block.
Oh shit.
He blocked me. Look, I'm in the book of Negroes. I just tell you that right now.
Many Negroes and Negresses in the book of Negroes. It's I don't know, there's that. His daughter is on some other shit. His father responded to him recently within the last couple days. In which Umar responded by saying, "Stay the F away from me," trying to sound gangster, like I don't speak my name, blue.
So his siblings must be like kind of embarrassing him and don't want people to know who they are, because he has a bunch of siblings.
Yeah.
And nobody, they ain't saying nothing.
Well, one of the lady said his brother is involved in some of the business that he's seen him do security or some little odd errands here and there, and they've apparently butt heads a couple times, as where Umar, it was necessary for him to get the gat.
Oh wow.
On his bro, and I think his brother is a real. I think when I put that relationship together, I think dude is probably in the hood, and he's just that guy. Like if Umar needs it, just out of blood, he's like he provides probably a lot of street stuff and resources that Umar can't get close enough to, get that help also. But other than that, Lennon had the nephew on for an interview for a little while. It went well. The nephew is blood thicker than water with him. He wasn't totally aloof as to why people think things about Umar, this and that, but at the same time, a young kid, well, maybe I think in his 20s or something like that, he's like, yeah, he's my uncle, man, like this is just what it's gonna be. So that was pretty interesting.
That's like how his daughter kind of was, But my thing is that his siblings are really superly quiet. From what that lady said, they were trying, he was keeping the mother from him and everything else. But my thing with her is like, he's a con man. Like what are you saying? But then again, some women, he talks a good game, but I can't see it. Like ain't nothing he can tell me.
Right.
From the game. I heard him say something. What made me kind of started watching him a little bit was when he was in a movie, like in a theater, and he had said something profound, and I said, "Who is this guy?" And then I went to his site and I started listening, and it wasn't but like 15 minutes in, and he sounded crazy to me already. I said he just regurgitating stuff.
He can't handle the responsibility of, I guess, free speech per se, or even getting a little bit of the spotlight, because beyond getting his message, which might be one thing that's very poignant, his ego gets out of hand, and it's got to be about everything. Is that everything else? Is that energy starts to hit him from the audience? Then it's more, he's a performer. He's a very good performer also. But, even as for the argument where people are like, how close do your leaders have to live, according to the words, do you follow the message and not the messenger, that sort of way as well. The equilibrium of that whole thing is all off balance for him. His personal life and his dealings and the way that he's conducted himself over time prove basically he's not that guy in terms of leader. And it's, in fact, his words are the opening to the door to get the rest of the bullshit in. He doesn't live anything by what he says. He hasn't even helped one boy in this whole time, all this bullshit that's going on. Hasn't helped one boy, one child, not even his own.
Well, see, and it's weird how he's obsessed with helping boys and he doesn't have um any, it's like he's kind of like obsessed with like saying that because he doesn't have any boy children. But he has nephews, he has,
Right.
he can help the smallest boys. He can do like he can put together something, just something small, but that's not what he's about. He's gotten in over his head. And I think what ended up happening was he started talking a good game.
Mm.
People started sending him money, and his eyes got bigger and bigger. And
His taste got bigger,
yeah,
right? He got more expensive. He got more exposure. He liked the limelight. He liked feeling important. And
and then
all this started to outweigh the purpose of why he was out there in the first place.
And then when he goes overseas, it's just like what I've experienced when you go over there. They don't know that he's really scamming. They really embrace us over there. So it's like, if we embrace the culture and we're comfortable in their, they treat us like family.
Mhm,
So he wants to be overseas because they're gonna treat him well. They're gonna share everything over there.
mhm.
Depending on who you come across. But here he was sleeping with women, and he was acting like he can help their children. He
Right.
saw he's like, yo, your son is on an IEP. Oh man, you got a big booty.
Voluptuous resumes.
Yeah,
Send your voluptuous resumes to FDMG. I mean, there's the basic things. Even if the school isn't up, you know what? You should be working from a makeshift office inside the building every goddamn day. Build
Look,
you had enough material to build yourself a little office that you could operate out of.
well, here's the deal. We all know that those buildings are are for manufacturing. They will never be a school. The water isn't safe in that area, and they will never change how those buildings are classified.
But you
There's
know what I'm saying though, right? Like
yeah.
just to even have an office, forget the classrooms, forget the gym, everything else, the ceiling tiles, all that bullshit. Your office, and it doesn't even have to be done up, just a functional office where this is where I'll be while I work on this project versus in the corner of my mama's closet. This is where I'm
Oh
going
man.
to be
All right,
conducting
when he
something
was
I'm
in the
that serious
basement,
about.
when he was up there in that basement,
The corner, not even the basement, the corner, squish, all degrees, pictures, everything, frames shoved
I
in that
think
corner.
what's hilarious is how they keep showing that image of that little junkie when he accidentally turned to camera by accident. And they're
Dude,
acting like that's recent, like that's not old. You can even tell by the camera that it was an older phone that took that image. So
that was a very, I mean, he's actually done that a couple times in
yeah,
places, but that particular one that you're talking about, that's how he was living. And he did one of his usual reveals, or what would come up as a reveal. He started stuttering, like he went back to like childhood. If you remember, I don't know if you remember the audio on that, but he
yeah,
couldn't. It took him a while to recover it because we're gonna like he reverted back to like childhood inadequacies when that happened. And of course you just saw um just shit on both sides piled up, and it really gives you the sense like you're not just having a bad day, or like you live like this is your thing. And even validated by Lene, like he's a filthy, and you could see it. You don't have to guess.
yeah, man. When he was in that car, when he was outside near the playground, you can tell he's like a filthy,
Yeah.
man. He just cleans up. He get brand new pair of clothes and stuff. That's when he cleans up. But the other thing that's really telling to me is the one thing I think is that he the biggest betrayal is that when his father told him that he was related to Frederick Douglass, like that was something that his dad put in him.
Yeah.
And made him believe that that was his family instead of just telling his son, listen, I lied. Like he ain't gonna say he was like dodging around the question. He was like, oh, well, yeah, I was told and this and that. And then his dad started resorting back to saying, that ancestry or that DNA, you don't know, and he started going back saying he ain't
It's a
related to
great scene for the Umar Johnson story. The father, son's on the shoulder. We're not related to Douglas, son.
But his dad betrayed him, had him believing, telling him those things when he was a young person. I believe that Umar Johnson was diagnosed with ADHD when he was younger. I believe that he was very challenging, very difficult.
Yes.
Going through school and stuff like that. And that's where this is coming from.
Yes.
I think that his dad really didn't participate in his life like he wanted him to. And you can see that he carries that because he really has animosity towards his dad. And it has nothing to do with what he's doing now. It's just it's always been there.
Absolutely. And sorry, I think also with that, it's like that's one thing. That's one example that we have of Umar's dad being like a piece of shit. I don't even believe he was misled to think that. How could you be from the goddamn family tree in Cuba? But I think that's just a part of the collective of things that he told and molded Umar with, tall tales like that, just these things about himself, and to just to make him sound more grand than he is. But I think that's an example, that one thing, which is a big thing to say that you're related to Frederick Douglass, is probably he just got airfuls and that sort of treatment, that sort of nurturing, because he's carrying it as an adult, this grandiose megalomaniac type of behavior that he has. It's because his father probably filled him with a bunch of shit like that growing up.
Exactly.
I just I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to see adults because growing up, man, you just thought adults were different. Like you grow out of shit by the time you're an adult, and you see some of the same behavior, some of these. Like, how did people let you go past life with this, like without you being checked on this? Like, did somebody check you for this before? Was Umar this shitty always? I'm sure he got more shitty because he got more perceived power and money, but maybe back when he was struggling, he couldn't talk to people a certain way. But it's like when people get drunk, they say your true self comes out. Maybe now you're cussing, maybe you're a little more aggressive with stuff because you're drunk. I believe that's a certain intoxication for Umar. That's his being drunk on it, drunk with power and influence,
Yeah.
And it seeped into his head like a relaxer. Say what?
Yeah, it's kind of sad, but it's like at the end of the day, like people like when we on live, they'll blindly follow the underdog because they feel, that's where he is. I think some people are so far gone that they have to believe because they put so much into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I mean, I visited dude's page a couple times, wrote a couple comments. What you question here, like what keeps somebody like that fucking hanging on or being a believer? Then you go to the page to see him and just see how first he's not that bright of a dude. I remember when he was. He's inarticulate. His ideas, he doesn't know the things that he's referencing. When he tries to reference things, he doesn't have a good knowledge base. He just knows a few things.
And I think that's what a lot of Umar's audience actually is people who had IEPs have been diagnosed with emotional
who's got pseudo intelligence.
Yeah.
Right. That's his audience. And just before actually knowing anything and knowing that you don't know anything, back that up a few spaces. People that probably could put the work in and be a little bit more aware of it, but that's where they stop. They found this thing that this is where that effort is going. Instead of learning for self, they want somebody to string them through, this thing that Umar does. All of it's toxic. And like I was saying at the beginning, like, I'm so glad that Q Butter put that message out. Like, hey, other positive things are going on with people with the amount of energy, not necessarily shining the spotlight on himself, but to me, the way I took it as a guy that's not into social media like that, and I do try to do different things on the platform and do different subjects and stuff. I really did think it was a good thing to be like, yeah, you're right, dude. We do have the power to lift others up than to, not that you're necessarily smashing him, because we're speaking facts, reality, right? This is shit this dude did, you know. So like I don't know. It's I'm really interested to see how this ends, and I don't think you were bringing up before the frozen bank accounts. I just think there's probably some problems there, but for all those things to go out at once would really indicate a bank problem. But he exposed himself a couple times when he was talking about it, and he kept going back and forth between saying there's an investigation and there hasn't been an investigation. They're looking into this and that, and certain points where you wouldn't even know that there's an investigation, and particularly what it's about, unless you got the paperwork or stuff. You wouldn't have to guess, basically. Right. So even that, he didn't have a clear, concise answer. Like, this is what's happening, this is that, which leads me to think that he's bullshitting, and he's probably just very, very low on funds for now. He has some things in the future, some maybe traveling and stuff that he wants to do, and he doesn't have the cash floating around like he used to. So this is kind of his new thing. And I think we're seeing things on a couple of fronts. I think we're seeing, how they say, things come in three, or if you're trying to take something down, there's a military approach, there's air, land, and sea. We got the finances, we got the school, we got supposedly somebody sent notices to the city to look in for an investigation and stuff. So this is happening on all terrains, as where it's a little different before, where he was just maybe arguing with his daughter or a woman and stuff like that. This is now involving a bigger scale of things in different ways. If in fact it is an investigation into his finance, that means a whole big area, and really truly the demise of this idiot. But
but it's gonna be weird. Like, you ain't gonna, I wonder what he's gonna do next in his life.
It could be the two extremes. It could be either fade into oblivion, which I don't think his ego will allow, or diversify the hustle. So like Jay Moore's trying to go into preaching and stuff, sounding like a fumbling idiot that even I would be able to give a better sermon than that, who hasn't been in church for a long ass time. But he might try to finesse the hustle. But his problem is he's not good really at finessing in a way where he has to work with people. He finessed people on the school deal, but he didn't do it in a way where he has to network, depend, and work with other people. So he would have to do that if he were going to so-called diversify his speaking talent and able to have a knowledge base for his material, to see what he's going to do. Can you see him? I can't see him being restricted. It's so-called, I'm saying restricted, for him in a 9 to 5 where he has to show up for a boss. He has to leave at a certain time, lunch at a certain time, where he's going to be under somebody's thumb like that. I don't know if I see that for him,
Well, He's not going to. He is definitely. We're seeing. I don't know if we're seeing the beginning of his demise, but what we are seeing right now is desperation. That's what we're seeing. A level of desperation.
You know, and here's a thought too. What's the demise? What, they take away the schools?
No, I don't know.
Are they actually going to charge him with something? What would the demise be for Umar for real?
I think that his money train is going to diminish greatly, like his ability to move around like he wants to. He'll probably be able to, he'll probably still do speaking little things, but I don't know, he might have a nervous breakdown. Like, I think it's going to be like a mental thing.
God damn it. I asked Lennon to play this a million times. He plays videos for everybody, old videos and stuff, but I have a favorite. There's a video of, you thought, so he did Lord Jamar, as we were talking about it earlier. I'm laughing because now I'm thinking about the video. So he was supposed to go to the 5%ers or whatever, because I think he was going to be in New York. And the word is that Lord Jamar got that canceled. There's a couple things with that apparently Umar was going to be approached up there by people of Lord Jamar, yada, yada, yada. And so they canceled him, if you know that or not. So he couldn't do his speaking engagement there. The next day, when he's live streaming from the school, he's out of his mind. He's talking to himself. He's in circles. He's like, I don't know. I just try to. He's really trying to work it out in his head as to why. He didn't recall how bad the interview went or anything like that. He was just all about rare form. I've never seen. Maybe it was a little manic, but I've never seen a reflective Umar having that introspective conversation with himself. Like, first I was on a plane, I was in New York, now I'm back here. Just that was a video where you probably just saw one of the real emotions of Umar, man. It was totally one of the funniest things. He'll move to Africa. You think Umar? Okay, I think Umar could live anywhere, but I think he likes his first world amenities a lot. I think he'd have to restrain himself a whole lot if he was in some African town, village, what have you. I'm not sure that would do it for him. Maybe if he were fit, it depends on what he's facing. If he were facing a lot like money, things, that, the other. I think anything he's facing, he'll be able to work on. If they're really trying to go against him, for criminal sakes, there's going to be serious charges, maybe some jail time, maybe some white collar shit. Even that, he'd be able to make it through that, because that's not this for him to go to Africa. I think would have to be a real thing that nobody could recover from. He might, even if he goes, he'll be back. I think anything that's coming down Umar's way, he's already seen what's coming his way. I don't think he's fooling anybody here. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a show. I think what he's just doing is buffering the audience and his supporters between the real shit that he knows is going on right now before the hammer really comes down. That's what I see.
And that what you see, yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but well, so long, Umar. No.
Yeah, let's just see how it goes. It would be one thing if it were just the business, but you got his daughter and his father now. Like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? His daughter is a whole trip on her own, man. I don't really try to indulge on anything that's shown with her, because we're really looking at a crazy person. We're looking at a person out of her mind that is energized by the fame of social media, which it's just, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. When they ask for a poster child for people who should not be on social media, it's that. It's Johnson's daughter.
It's a lot of them like this, though.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
Yeah, man. Holy crap! And the father to come back out and say stuff, then Umar. It's just like a weird. pro-black family feud is going on there, man. I don't know. Just some weird shit, man. That whole family's weird. But we'll see. See whatever you think. What do you think is going to happen to him? You think they're gonna hold him up, or you think he's just gonna hit with charges? What's gonna happen?
I think that he's gonna get some charges on him somewhere, but it's gonna be unexpected. We ain't gonna know what it is until it comes out. But he's gonna get some charges somewhere.
And then he's gonna do what? You think? You think there's a plan?
He's gonna pull an R. Kelly. He's gonna say something like, what did R. Kelly say? They're trying to he broke down.
Oh, the interview.
Yeah.
This is my life. That was a weird crash out to have on there like that. It's like, dude, his publicist behind, like, fuck, we talked about this. Is that you? Are you on your phone? Or are you making sounds on your phone?
Oh, I'm on my computer, and my computer did that.
Oh, whoop-de-doop-de-doo.
I was okay. So I've been working on something for a content creator in the sector. So I've been making things for him. So that's why. And so I was like, let me send him over his some of his stuff. It's a business. It's a business transaction. You hear me? No, you heard.
Okay. All right, Joe. Joe the business.
I had time to, and he's cool people. I like making I like creating little art things. The cool part is whatever I created, you probably wouldn't think it came from me. That's the whole.
Why would I not think that?
Because that's the whole goal. The goal is to make things where it's so unique, where you just wouldn't know,
Wouldn't the goal of making things be to have your signature on it because it's a brand and people would expect that quality coming from you?
Oh, right. But yeah, that's true. Unless I brand, I'm branding it for them, personalizing it for them. Yeah.
If I want a certain painting, I would want an Ernie Barnes style painting, not a Van Gogh type painting,
Right. That's what I'm saying. But I'm making it personally, like for that person, the person, giving them what they want. Not what I want.
Gotcha.
So I'm branding. Gotcha. I'm branding them for themselves, for them. So I'm making their brand, and it's kind of cool, I'll put it on my resume. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Where are we? You want to close up at 3 hours?
Yep. Yeah, I'm tired. Normally I'm for the whole past week I've been in bed at 10:30, so I'm pushing.
Oh wow, look at you! My goal is to be in bed, not necessarily on Friday because it's Friday, but during the week at least by 12, and even that's a struggle all the time, man. I need to be a lot better on the sleeping.
Go to bed earlier. So I'm trying to at least get more than 6 hours of sleep. So 6 hours. Oh man. I made it. Before that, I was going to bed at 12 and 1 o'clock, waking up in the middle of the night. I swear I was getting 4 hours of sleep, having to take naps. But now I got it to 6. If I can get it to 7, oh man, it's crazy.
A straight 6? You don't no bathroom visits for you in the middle of the night, like I'm like a senior citizen?
I probably do, and I just don't remember. But I have a puppy that wakes me up in the middle, tries to wake me up in the middle of the night. So he outside right now.
They should be in the cage at night. Shouldn't be rolling around.
This is a little puppy. It's the other dog, the bigger dog, that wakes him up because they want to go outside. But he's outside. I hope he ain't barking at howling at a coyote.
Oh, there you go. Got some fighting to do. Joe versus the coyote.
All right, but it's been a real one. Great show, great show. Interesting topics.
I said go until we got 6 more minutes. You're cutting off over here.
Oh, well, yeah, we got.
No, it's fine. I'll close up. You could go.
No, I was just doing my clothes.
Damn,
like,
you want to go that bad? Jeez.
No, I thought you said. Look, interesting topic.
All right, that was Joe, everybody.
Listen, no.
Good night, Joe.
No, put me back on here. Okay. I said, let me say what I want to say. See, it was I brought some interesting topics. I mean, thought it was interesting. Tiz came up here through put in his 2 to 3 5 cents, and so that was good. He probably got caught up,
Yeah.
But no, it was good. I enjoyed the show.
Meanwhile, back at the show.
Did you?
He said, so basically you're sending your other husband sweet nothings right in the last call. How could you? What? My other...
I'm playing my closing up music is coming in.
Yeah, I love your closing music.
I'm glad you came out to do this. Know you had to go see your friends last week, but I mean, damn, you got a show. You got commitments, man.
Actually, it was like, listen, I always
damn.
Like, okay, let me leave at around. Well, and you did it late too. It was 9, and I still.
9:02, don't you?
Yeah,
what, you talking about today?
No, yes, well, it's
all right.
It's,
maybe a couple weeks ago there was a late day. All right.
Yeah, it's 8. When you start, it's 8:00 my time.
Oh, right. Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Central. Okay. Yeah.
That is a tough time. That is a tough time.
Yeah. So see, I'm like running back, but see, you started at 9, so I'm thinking like I can make it. That was 10:00 your time. I thought so. I thought I was gonna be able to make it, and I didn't.
All right, I could just be talking shit for the first.
Now, if you want me to drink a little bit, like you want a drinking Joe on the panel, just let me know. I'll be up here.
Are you? Why would you not drink, and why would you drink one or the other? Because I did used to a little before.
Well, you know how you have like a little how they be having like wine, or they'll have some type of like. One of them like, them little fruity drinks and stuff with your meal,
No. Don't do fruity drinks. The hell?
That's for us. I know. You probably drink. What you drinking on? Like, what is your go-to drink anyway?
A couple things. I don't nearly drink as much as I used to because I really went far with that. But I, in moderation now, and I don't keep any at the house. So my things were this. I was a big whiskey scotch dude. Jack Daniels. I had like Jameson. Stuff like that, man. And then you get away from even mixing it with shit. So when I had the bar at my house, all the glasses of that when I was doing brandy and all that, it was really about the taste. Some deserved maybe an ice cube in it, but most of them at one point I was just drinking like from just straight, no chaser, man. So that was more my thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Let's get drunk, Joe.
Mine is like a little vodka, and then with like a cranberry juice or some raspberry cranberry, or some type of like ice fruity type drink with like a little
annoying.
Yeah, or like or just some little wine. That's it. Anything past that, I'll be leaning. I don't want to have a hangover. I don't want none of that.
Whew. Talk to me about hangovers. Yeah, girls are allowed to get away with little silly drinks, and it gets you. But if you're not, I would say at one point I was a connoisseur with certain liqueurs. and where I really knew the taste and what made a quality drink a quality drink with that too. And it's just what it is.
So now you're like a water. I'm a water connoisseur. So
No,
you're not a
drink,
water.
drink anything but water. I drink a lot of sugary drinks that I shouldn't be drinking. A lot of like the fake fruit drinks, like a thing
Oh
of
wow.
apple juice or the Tropicanas. Any of the mixtures, the experimental mixtures that Tropicana has, I have those loaded in my fridge. So, like, I have to do my 5 miles tomorrow. I make sure I have like 3 of those big Tropicanas to
Oh, so you
hydrate.
that's not hydrating. That's you just drinking some sugar. But me, I have a big old cup and it's like it stays cold for like 48 hours, but it never lasts 48 hours. But 32, I know like I'm drinking at least 3 times 32 ounces of water. Like I love alkaline water.
Oh,
I
that's good.
I just love water. I love really cold water. I love water that don't have a taste.
Ugh.
If it don't have a taste, it tastes the best. No taste.
Yeah. I need. I'm a glutton. I need food. I need flavor. Lots of it, whether it's good for me or bad for me. I need salt on everything.
You salt. You know why you put salt on everything? Because you don't. If you eat garlic, if you put garlic in your stuff when you cook it, you don't need salt.
I use garlic too. Both.
Oh,
Everything. Always.
your
That's what I
taste.
do.
That's your taste buds. We got to get your taste buds back. We're gonna have to change this show to a cooking,
No.
food tasting show now.
Let me tell you, if I was trying to live a healthy lifestyle, I'd be doing it by now. It's not gonna happen. It's not-
It don't gotta be healthy. It just gotta be really tasty.
I'm pretty sure I'm halfway through my life at this point. So, there's no old habits. I'm not gonna be juicing my own shit.
Until
Which
and
is what I
whenever
would do if I could put more effort. I'd just survive on juice, on fresh juice, on with the juice chopper shit. I'd do that.
when that diabetes hit,
I
it
know.
was another
I
tune.
know.
You be like, I drink all kinds of water now. It's crazy. When that little kidney started going,
I don't want a stone. I'm glad I haven't gotten one yet.
yeah.
But there's not much you could do. I got, bad futures to look at. I got strokes on one side or cancer on another one. So
Tell me about it. The cancer part on one side and stroke on the other side. You right.
yeah,
So don't get stressed, and limit the poison that you're putting in your body. And that's all I can say.
All right. We'll see what we could do. All right. Do you have anything else for the people? So you could brace yourself out of here already.
Nah. Good night, everybody. I'll see you next week.
That's so sweet. That is Josephine, the HNIC head negress in charge. And folks, we've come to the last couple minutes of the show. Thank you so much for coming out. If there is any replay gang, I don't know. I'm down for that too. Thank you everybody else for coming to check us out. OG Emmanuel, always appreciated. YM came through. DC, Defrauding Charlatans, came through as well. Stephanie, always good to see you. Lorna, one of the homies, good to see you also, man. Am I forgetting anybody? Because I don't think I am. Anybody else listening? If there are any cloud people, again, the replay gang. If you're listening, listen for the first time, or even if you listen a couple of times, maybe it's time you hit me with that subscribble Come on, man. Give me a subscribe. Look at my... when I'm totally over 100% of where I was just a few months ago, which is the funniest shit on the planet. But still, you could give me some, you know, trying to do stuff over here. Take it from the words of Q Butter, man. There's so much effort on these sleuth channels. You have mine here to listen to. And, you know, just hook me up. I don't know what else to say, man. Just having fun out here. Thank you for coming through. Last Call Podcast live Friday nights at 9 o'clock. Be back again next week with another one. And I'm going to try to drop a video a little sooner than I did this week. I don't know. With everything going on, man, I don't know what... I don't know. Sometimes it's tough to pick the video that's just gonna do it, but you know, whatever hits the heart, whatever I'm interested in too, you know, we'll go and do that. And I second that, Emmanuel. Thank you for saying it's a good show. Appreciate it. And same sentiments. Good seeing everybody as well. Enjoy the rest of the night, how much we have left, and the rest of the weekend. Take care of you. You take care of yourselves and each other, man. Definitely appreciate it. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out. Until we do this crazy thing again. Thank you. Let it go. Gotta let it go. Sam's gonna let it go. If you're still listening, I'm gonna hit you with this one, and then I'll really be out. I know. I don't even know why I put it on. One more minute.